There we go. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Rocket Lasso Live, Season 2, Episode 12. And I have a very special guest today who needs no introduction, but I'll let him introduce himself.
Yes, hello. I am EJ HASSENFRATZ, or iDesign, as you may know me. I am a creative director at School of Motion now. I've been full-time with them since last August. So, man, it's been like 6 months. Time is flying by, but got a lot of fun stuff in store over there. We're really ramping up our 3D content. Got a couple new courses coming out that's all Cinema 4D related, so stay tuned for that. We're going to have David Ariev dropping a whole bunch of tutorials on there about Octane and all that good stuff. And we've just finished up our 10 days of tutorials. I got a Cinema 4D tutorial in there about intro to box modeling. So if you're not familiar with box modeling, go check that out. We're not sharing the screen yet. Do you want me to go through that
Go
part
ahead.
too?
I'll click. Yeah.
Sweet.
There we go. Now it is your screen. Yeah, look at that. We can see EJ's screen.
Yeah. This is my screen. This is my Trash Can Mac Pro. Say what you will. But this is School of Motion. We have our registration open right now. I know a lot of people might have a lot of downtime these days. So if you want to learn and up some of your skills, definitely check out some of our courses. We got a whole lot there. Got my Cinema 4D Base Camp, which is really good if you're just getting a intro level knowledge of Cinema 4D, which I would assume most people tuning into Chris Schmidt probably know some stuff about Cinema 4D, but there are a lot of tutorials that we're getting up here as well, especially 3D. Just click on that little filter, and there's my little giant big eyeball people.
Oh, I love pictures.
And Adobe Aero, I talked about this in my intro, which was off screen, but check that out if you want to get a really easy way to get your Cinema 4D art into AR. A lot of people might know me from my website, iDesign. Got a lot of tutorials up there. And then my Instagram. So I like interacting with a lot of people on Instagram. I feel like, I don't know how it is for you, Chris, but I feel like I have a lot of interaction with people messaging me and stuff on the Instagrams more than anything else, which is interesting and cool.
Instagram definitely took over Twitter. I need to start paying more attention to Instagram because I'll check it and there'll be several days of like, oops, somebody messaged me and I won't have seen it. So
yeah. I feel like when I first learned about the little direct messages, I went in there and I'm like, oh my God, there's 3 years of this in here. I didn't know. I didn't know what I was doing.
So let's see, you got some more site stuff there, or does that cover your intro?
No, that's basically my intro. But yeah, if you want to catch up on my work and what I'm doing over at School of Motion, I guess I'll do the Twitter. Basically, everything is just /iDesign, if I can even spell it. I can't even spell my own thing. There we go. There's my assistant, Pug Gus. But there's us. So I actually I keep up to date on Twitter quite a bit. One thing I'd like to help promote is I've been providing project files, Cinema 4D project files for like $4 each. Basically, it's like, hey, buy me a beer, have a project file. But with everything going on, I've actually opened it up for free, so you can use this discount code, the WFH 2020, work from home, and you can get all my project files for free that are on my little Gumroad store. So Gumroad /iDesign, and you can see all of my stuff here. That again is free once you enter in that coupon code. But if you ever watch some of my tutorials and are like, how did you do that thing? And you want to pick apart my Cinema 4D file, see how horrible I am at naming my objects, knock yourself out.
Excellent. Okay, I'm gonna pull us back both on the screen here, and let's start reading through the chat. So we already said some hellos in the pre-show. Pro Tools says, I just balanced out our audio a little bit thanks to Pro Tools. 3,000 in the audience. Level Bevel, hey, what's going on? Thanks everybody for coming and hanging out. This is really cool. And if this works out well, like I said, we'll be able to have more virtual guests on and do this. I'd love to get some people from Max on over too. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that's exciting.
So let's read through. Now, Like I said, links only work in the Twitch chat, not the YouTube one, but feel free to type out a question. I'm going to pay attention to both of them. But Andrew had a question here, and he's asking about the feasibility of finding jobs if you're more of a technical artist and not so much about making like pretty renders and everydays. Because, I gotta say, even there's been a lot of, for obvious reasons, there's been a lot of like video conference calls happening in different groups being like, hey, we're live streaming this or that. And it's been really cool to see a lot of workflows. And I've been surprised at hearing a series of stories of people being like, oh, yeah, this huge studio reached out because they were following my Instagram and they liked my style and they wanted me to get involved in something. And, even where it's like, oh, I don't use the software they use, but they still want me to get involved somehow. So obviously Instagram and that type of social media has been a big way for people to find work. But if you're more of a technical artist, then how would you go about doing that? I'll let you go first, DJ, if you have any insights on this.
Yeah, actually, with everyone's been ramping up the live stream, like you were saying. And one of the things that we did at School of Motion last week was we had Ryan Summers, amazing artist. He just joined School of Motion recently, and he's great at critiquing reels. And so we just had all these people submit their reels and we critique them. And one thing I asked was, okay, we have the traditional reel, but I feel like more and more I feel like a lot of artists are lagging on updating their reels, because I think where you see artists, at least a majority of artists' fresh new work is on Instagram, on their Instagram feeds. Yeah. And sometimes their reels are from like 3 years ago, but then all their fresh new work is on Instagram. And one of the interesting things that I see artists doing a lot now, which I think ties directly to your question about how do you show off your technical ability, is a lot of these artists were actually showing, like, if they made a scene or made a rig, they would actually show a breakdown in their Instagram post. So how you could do Instagram posts and you can do multiple videos and stuff like that. So you can actually show like your lighting setup with just the clay render and see like, oh, that lighting set up really nicely. I see what they did there to show the wireframe. Like if you're really interested, like how the edge flows went, if you're really interested in that. And then just like rigging setups, like what was the technical process? How did you actually do this thing? And they just show basically like a mini tutorial on how that setup was. So I think if you're a technical artist and you go in and you rig something, that's the perfect way to show it, is like show the actual art and then show the behind the scenes of the technical process to animate that thing or rig that thing or use dynamics or whatever you did. And I think that's the key to showing off your technical ability, is doing just that, showing those behind the scenes.
Yeah, this is pretty much what I was going to get to. That I actually really love when I see a lot of the more technical side of things in something like Instagram or on Twitter, and it goes to like, oh, somebody does a really nice bit of shoulder rigging, so the arm automatically moves up. When you pull the control, the shoulder will bend with the arm. And it's like, oh, you just have to zoom up on that and show your controller going up and down, show the shoulder going up and down. And if you do that type of thing, it doesn't need to be a final pretty render, but now there's going to be tons of studios who are like, we need somebody to do some rigging. Here's a guy or gal, somebody who's posting things saying like, hey, I just did this. I do rigging and I put that out into the world, and I make materials, and then you'll see me apply the materials to a couple of different objects, even pre-built ones. It's like, okay, here's a new brick shader made in Substance, and here I'm applying it to different things. So it's like, okay, you're a technical artist making materials, but you don't need a big final beautiful render. You need to show that, hey, I have skills that would be useful for your team. And a lot of people watching who are going to be doing the hiring, they are also artists, so they can see the potential in what you're making. It's like, oh, if I had that rig, I could do some amazing animations. So the final animation is, I think, especially for finding a job, is probably less important than being like, hey, here's the skills I have, I'm putting those out into the world. So
yeah, I think even if you are a good artist and you also have that strong technical ability, you're doing yourself a disservice if you're just showing that pretty render. It's like, oh, actually, this person's an amazing artist and an amazing technician. Like, look at all these really unique and ingenious workflows that this artist can do as well. And that adds that other hireability aspect to your work and what you bring to a table. If you want to get hired at a studio, like not only can this person make pretty stuff, but man, their setups are just as pretty.
Yeah. The and I gotta say, it's something that does trip me up. I love seeing the behind the scenes bit of work, because there could be somebody who's, I don't know the right way to say this, but there could be somebody who's spending a month and they're just modeling an absolutely gorgeous car. And if they just go and post the final render, then most people are just going to scroll right past it. Oh, cool, pretty car render, scroll, scroll, scroll. And maybe in the description that says, hey, I modeled this myself, but people are just scrolling through. But if you did a couple of work in progress, it's like, oh, there's a person who's modeling a car from scratch. And then when the final render is there, they're scrolling through your feed, they now see, oh, they made the car, because it's so easy right now to go and buy models somewhere, get free models. Like, people are sharing more than ever. And you can throw together a beautiful looking render with some preset lighting, some HDRs, a bunch of models from all over the place. And at that point, the important parts there are the artistic ones, the art fundamentals of like composition and lighting and the color. And that's what's important there. So there's a huge amount of skill there. But if what you brought to the table here was your models, people need to know that this isn't something that was bought off of Turbo Squid. They need to know that you made that. So definitely show off those parts of it. And then after that, just go to the same advice you go get anywhere. Like, make sure you, well, not right now, but, shake hands, meet people, go out, like interacting with people. Honestly, even doing this kind of stuff, going in, joining Slack channels, having conversations, asking questions, answering questions, even more important. And people get to know your name. And then when you say, hey, I made this cool thing, does anybody know of anyone who's hiring, or I'm looking for freelance or something? That's when it comes back around again. Every connection you make, every hand you shake or virtual hand you shake, eventually it does come back around and pay off. Yeah, the virtual high fives all over the place these days. I like the foot fives these days. You turn around, you foot five from behind.
There you go. Another thing, just like, this is more of like just a marketing thing that I think we can touch on, just for artists that want to start posting their work on Instagram and try to figure, because it's all about the algorithm. Like, how can you work that Instagram algorithm to make your work show up on more feeds? And one of those things is, like, as far as interaction goes with a post, are those breakdowns. Because one of the things is when you just see an image, you see like, okay, I'll like that, whatever. But the moment that in that post you also have your breakdown, your setup, your technical setup, you show like all these different speed, like if it's a model, you speed model, and that's another on the little carousel of that Instagram post. And the thing that does is, number one, Instagram gives you a better visibility when you have that carousel, so multiple images on one post. And if you can get someone to do that bookmarking thing, I don't know if you've done this, Chris, where you can actually save. It's like one of the options you can like, you can share, and you can bookmark, and it's like a little bookmark icon. And basically that saves that into a certain collection that you can name. It's kind of like on Vimeo, you can save a video to a certain collection or something like that. Mm-hmm. If you do that, that bookmark is like a mega like it's worth 10 likes or something crazy like that. So if you get a lot of those, that also helps your exposure. I hate using that term, but helps your visibility of more people seeing that work. And to what you were saying is a lot of people are using stock models these days. So I feel like a lot of people just don't have time to be able to model something. So they'll go out and hire someone who models as well. So if you can actually model and model well, like, man, I think you're just busy all the time, because so many people need things modeled, and modeling is one of the hardest skills I feel like you can learn at this point.
Excellent. Yeah, this is fun. Okay, it seems like the stream's coming through. Everything's good. I'm frustrated enough having to worry about the YouTube algorithm, not even thinking about things like the Instagram algorithm.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, anytime Instagram has a new feature, like when they first did the carousels or they first did the bookmarks, basically they're rewarding you to use their new feature. Yep. This is like, Beeple knows all this stuff too. Like, one thing that Mike told me was, you always want to post the square composition. So it's 1080 by 1080. And that's like the optimum thing. So video, this is especially important because if you do a 1920 by 1080, it'll actually crop it and reprocess it, and it can be really cruddy video, like really highly processed. But if you do 1080 by 1080, you get the minimum amount of processing, and your quality and fidelity should maintain pretty good. It's still, I mean, Instagram's still gonna take your awesome render and just really gunk it up, but even more so if you're having Instagram behind the scenes rescale or recompress or something like that. So that's another tip. Oh, but if you do post at that square format, this is like where I was getting this whole time. It actually gives you like a 10% better visibility. Like Instagram will take yours 10% more than if you posted like that the horizontal version, like the HD version. So crazy. Another thing not a lot of people know about. Yeah, this is just becoming a marketing class.
Yeah. Oh, this is a good question. We don't tackle that kind of stuff too often.
Sure.
I just posted EJ's website in the chat, so make sure you check that out, not only for EJ's awesome content and tutorials, but also to see the type of questions that might be good to ask. Let's see. I saw a link just popped in here. We're going to, as always, when I have a guest, we're going to be a little more picky with them so we can find something both of us can tackle. I am going to share my screen. So me and EJ are still in the corner. There we are with our big smiles for Instagram. Get rid of that. And now I'm going to click a link from Emicore. The question is, how do we rig with objects hanging with dynamic ropes? Ooh, interesting. Let's see what we got here. So some dynamic ropes, audio down. This is from Man vs. Machine, which always means it's going to be absolutely amazing. So let's see what we got here. All right. I think they said about 4 seconds in. So I think we actually passed it already.
Hanging there.
So just these. Let's see. Full screen. Those blinds are cool. I mean, what I'm going to say right away is these aren't even hanging per se until something becomes dynamic.
Yeah.
This is just I'm trying to see if it ever gets to the point where that would matter. But yeah, I think you want to think about this a little more abstractly. I'll just pop open Cinema because I think I can do this in like a second. You know, if you've got something hanging and you're like, oh, there's a rope, like that rope isn't a rope if it's just a cylinder.
Right.
So you just make a cylinder, scale that up to whatever degree, and now I'll make that a child of the cube, obviously. And now, you know, if I move this up and down, it's like, oh, look, I've got a rope and it's hanging from the rope. Now, if you see where it's hanging from, that could change it. And if we were swinging this around, then obviously the question dramatically changes. But as far as what we're seeing right here at 4 seconds in, you know, don't be shy about just modeling a rope and letting it do its own thing. They're just being maybe somewhere else it gets more crazy and you can actually see them hanging, but don't do work you don't have to do
or move or anything.
Yeah, they're just moving up and down as far as I can tell. So yeah, pretty straightforward.
I think what a lot of people try to do is they try to think of the most complex solution for a very simple problem. You know, some people are trying to do some complex dynamic setup when it's like, actually, if you just like hand keyframe something, like just brute force, it would take you a fraction of the time and you wouldn't have to deal with some of the things that dynamics might, like problems that might come up with that. Like sometimes dynamics just can't get exactly what you want because you're dealing with the simulation and there's so much randomness involved in that.
Yeah, there's like this complex equation that you have to run in your head of there's like the quick and dirty approach, and then there's on the opposite end of the spectrum, the incredibly complicated, robust solution, and and then everywhere in between. And you have to run that equation and decide how much time do you have and where do you want to to me, it's a question of how much time do you have right now, or how likely is it that changes are going to come and you're going to have to iterate again and again and again. Because if you're going to be iterating a lot of times, you need something very robust. If the client is going to come at you and say, no, I need this tweaked over a little bit, then if you're doing hand keyframes, you're having to fix that again almost from scratch every single time. But if you build a very robust rig, maybe you don't. But if you just have to do it that one time,
Or it's
What's the
like just a
point?
half a second in your shot. You know, the shot's just a second long, like some of these shots in here.
Yeah.
Someone did point out that actually at 31 seconds in, the ropes are dynamic, and you get that little bit of like, it looks like, I don't know if it's collision deformer or something on the mattress.
Let's see, 31. Yeah, well, I love this rock chopped up. Boom, 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 boom. Ooh, that's nice. I think even that is relatively straightforward, though. With if we're in cinema, like this, that cloth right there, even would be harder than anything else we're seeing. But oh, it's for a mattress. That's great. Purple, the evolution of sleep.
They make the most beautiful thing for the most mundane objects or products.
Let's see. I don't want to hog the screen, so let's make sure we can tackle some things that both me and EJ could do. But once again, just keeping this really short and sweet. Always think of things in the lowest poly possible version. So if you got that bed where it's trying to squish it down, I'm going to hit NB so we can see the subdivisions here. And we're going to give this not too many subdivisions. Maybe I'll give it one vertically. And then I just want these to all be approximately square. Maybe I don't even need the vertical one. So here's a low poly model. But let's say that we were going to be crushing something more complex. I don't want to spend a lot of time making something very complex. So I'm just going to make a cylinder, drop its segments down to 4, turn off the caps, put that into a cloner, and turn on honeycomb. I love honeycomb. Anytime I could find an excuse to use it, I do. So let's see. We have to change the spacing here. I'm just going to squish these quite just kind of visually together a little bit of space in between them. And T for scale it way down. So you can imagine that we have something a lot more complicated like this. It would be very hard to make this model bend and deform and match exactly what that motion was. But it would be pretty trivial. And I'm going to make sure that's kind of fitting inside of this mattress shape. So if we just ignore that for a little bit, I'm going to create a floor, scoot the floor down. I'm just eyeballing all this. Let's make it a little more colorful. So make the floor dynamic, simulation, rigid body, make the bed. I'll just rename that bed, and we'll add a simulation soft body to it without even, I'm not even going to change any other settings. If I play, you can see that's going to instantly sag down a little bit. And if we started to counteract that in some way, we could do that several ways. We could add a little bit of pressure to it. So even just 5 is enough to start inflating that a lot. So there, I'm doing a pressure of 1, so just the tiniest little bit of inflating. So now if we were to start crushing this via whatever shape, let's make a cube and simulation rigid body, that's going to fall. And whatever weight this cube is going to force that mesh down. The resolution of this bed model is going to determine how sharply it can bend. And if we grab this block here, this cube, drop this block on it, we can at any point go to mass and change it from world density to a custom density. I can say, hey, this is 10 times heavier. And now you can see it's going to really squish it down. You could make it 0.5, and that's going to be a lot lighter, so it's not affecting it too much. So I'm going to just set that to 2. There we go. That's our model. That's everything we're going to do with this. And now we've got our more complex model right here. I'm not sure if we have to, but I'm going to throw this into a connect object. So I'm going to hold down control, actually I want to hold down shift. So we have a connect. I don't want to weld. This is now being treated as a single model. And if we create the amazing mesh deformer, I can drag in the bed as a source. And I don't think I have to, but I'm going to say accuracy, don't ignore external, set it to surface. So it's going to find any points even if they sneak outside. And hit initialize. And now you're going to see the bed essentially disappears. It won't render, and it's showing up as a wireframe now. And with any luck, there we go. You can now see that our big complex model is taking all the deformation from the super low poly model, and we don't have to overthink that. And simulations are going to run incredibly fast, super real time. And thinking of things in this way is going to be really important, really powerful. And you can everything you get more and more advanced from there. Just as one final example, if we were to create another cube and just drop this onto a rigid body, actually a collider body, simulation collider body, then even that will fall and it will bend I guess the pressure is actually doing a really good job of keeping that straight. Kill off the pressure. And now that should fall and bend over and start falling through the air as well. So, yep, complete control over that. I'm going to give this scene file a save. I guess we don't need to specifically share it, but here is file number 1 on Dropbox. So both EJ and I can get at it. So, bed, mesh deformer, Chris. And for everybody watching, every scene file you see us save will be available on Patreon afterward. So anything to add to what I was just talking about there, EJ?
No, I think an alternate way that could also work, I guess. Well, not the floppy thing, but the things landing on the mattress is like a collision deformer. On the 3D motion tour, we used the collision deformer quite a bit, and of course added some jiggle deformer to that. But I think that's like a good way to kind of art direct the collision a little bit with ripples and add a little smoothing with the relax or something like that. I don't know how often do you use collision deformer over just straight up dynamics?
Never.
Never.
Effectively. The collision deformer, it just doesn't pop into my head as a thing to use because you can only push it so far before it breaks. And then I always feel like, well, I'm going to get to that point later, if not sooner. So just go right to the dynamic source. And I mean, dynamics and soft bodies are like one of my areas of specialty. So I just go right to those right away.
Now, as far as cloth goes, do you use soft bodies for cloth, or do you ever use the cloth engine?
I almost exclusively use soft bodies. What cloth has over soft bodies is 2 things. One being that you can tear it, which is actually huge. It's really important. And the other is it can pin things really easily. You can fix points, and that's so difficult to do with soft bodies, and it's so inaccurate. So yeah, that's a little bit of a frustrating limitation when it comes to that. But let's see. We've got some other links coming in and some questions. Somebody's saying, actually, this will be really good while we have you here. We're going to have everybody shout out different ideas. But people are saying that we should have you model up one of your cute little characters just to do it. And I think that's a great idea. And we'll figure out something cool to do with it. In fact, we'll do this in 2 parts. Everybody, if you're up for this, why don't we have everybody in the chat shout out some sort of critter? And so if you get too weird,
my
we won't
modeling
pick
skills
it.
on the spot.
But I can jump in and help at some point too. We'll if we see something that's cool, then maybe we'll put something together. I mean, I love that pigeon that you've got. So something kind of in that style, but a different critter would be amazing. People shout out something that would be cool there. And then while we're working on that, and we'll kind of see where it's going, we'll have the chat say what we should do to it. If we should rig it up, if we should make a soft body, if we should be shooting a million particles of them at each other. We'll figure out something weird and just fun. Let's just make something up from scratch and just see where we go with the chat. I've actually never done this as far as the chat's concerned. The things are coming in quickly.
A dog Gus.
Meeks, I just want to do a quick shout out. Meeks, send me that question next week and I will definitely tackle it. It's not a good one when I have a guest over, but I definitely want to do that one when it's just me. But everybody in both YouTube and Twitch, I'm looking at the chat, is shouting out different animals. If you see somebody else's idea and you think it's a good one, shout that one out again.
Happy toilet paper.
Happy toilet paper.
Man, we're getting a lot of good ones. Walrus, narwhal, not Baby Yoda.
An overweight chihuahua. Owls.
Starfish. Danger noodle.
Danger noodles. That's a snake.
Should we make because it's super easy to model, just like a happy toilet paper guy. And then what you could do is like we can have him running and you can get like the billowing part of like the roll, like the little thing.
Oh yeah, just like wafting in the wind. Maybe,
wafting in the wind. Yeah.
Yeah, we could totally do
happy
that.
TP. How does everyone feel about happy TP? We could use some happy TP.
It's very topical. Everybody could use some happy
soft body rolls. So yeah, we could have a lot of fun with that.
Okay, it looks like we got some pretty good agreement across the board on it. So Yeah, let's dive right in. I'm gonna let EJ drive it, so I'm gonna click on his screen, and I'll be chatting all the way through it as well. So, and while we're going, everybody feel free to suggest additional things. Like if EJ is gonna start building it out, but then and I can rig it up so we got a little bit of a trail wafting behind it as it moves. But what should we
what I
do
could
with
do
it?
is I can give it arms and legs, or if you want to give it arms and legs and you can rig those up. I mean, we could do a lot of things here.
Yeah, there's a lot of options, but for now, let's yeah, I think arms and legs are probably a good idea. Um, and then yeah, somebody's saying tear off some sheets. I mean, it's we got to be careful because we'll run out of time quickly. We're already 40 minutes in, but it's the kind of thing is like it would be amazing. We won't be able to do this, but what popped in my head would be it's tearing off a sheet of itself and then blowing its nose. It would be like
That would be funny.
that would be adorable. Um, so yeah, I gotta think about it.
Okay. All right. All right. There's the toilet paper. Done. No.
I'm curious what your thought is for getting kind of the spirally look.
Yeah, I mean,
both on the top and on the tube.
yeah, what I was thinking is like this would be very stylized, but if we were gonna do that kind of detail, it would just I'd do some noise as a texture or something,
I
so
guess
I get
yeah.
everything could be texture, Like this is actually this is a softball for me to model, I think.
Yeah. But I think with everything being very stylized, we could just draw a very kind of cartoony spiral, like from the top down. And like, in fact, if you it would get your final ratio and just take a screenshot or just view it from the top. I'll take a screenshot and I will over here at the same time just make a spiral texture and I'll send it your way.
Oh, for this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that your final ratio though? Are you gonna make the inner and outside different?
Let's get this. Let's do like this guy's got to be double ply, like 2-ply, right?
Yeah.
So you got to be pretty
beef
thick.
them up.
Beef them up a little bit here.
All right. So yeah, you get the ratios and then pop back to the top. I'll take a screenshot and make up a spiral that's got the proper ratio.
There you go. All right. So let's. You want that top right there?
I got it.
Cool.
It.
You got
Continue.
It?
I'm going to be keeping half an eye on here while in mine I'll be just making a nice spiral. And for anybody curious, I'm just going to make a helix and spiral it in the proper ratio here. But so we have an image he can project down and just do whatever he wants with it. Actually, that makes me think maybe we can make it geometry based. If we just do a helix, you could just do a helix and in the same deformation that you're doing, the helix can live in the top and you could just spiral it in and out. And then you can actually give it like a little bit of depth. That could work.
We just do a helix here.
Yeah, just flatten it vertically, shrink the inside, and then give it 0 height. And then you can have whatever resolution spiral looks cute.
Oh, not that height. Whoop.
Yeah, 0. Yeah, that's correct height. Now you need 0 start radius, or not 0, but yeah, that smaller start radius. Yeah, and now you just increase the spiral, and that'll be how many times it twirls around. Simple as that.
Let's do times 10. Whoa.
Okay. Now add some extra subdivisions.
Yeah, that's a little too much. I think it's too much spiral there.
Well, yeah, especially. Well, there's a lot of. Yeah, I kind of like this.
I guess we do. Yeah, we do need that.
But yeah, if it's gonna be realistic, you need a ton. If it's gonna be more cartoony, it can be relatively light.
350. Let's get that inside and on the outside there. And then, what were you saying? Like, should we just throw like this in a sweep and just get that kind of raised up bit of it?
Yeah, maybe. I'm trying to think of what the best, because we could also run just like a sketch and tune directly on that spline.
That is true too.
And then it would calculate super quick.
Throw some hair.
Yeah. Oh yeah, hair on it, or yeah. Let's leave it as a spline because it's going to be pretty slow with that many subdivisions.
And if we're doing Redshift, we got to do the Redshift thing anyways.
Ooh.
Redshift hair. All right, so there's that. And let's add a little imperfection here. Get a little displace going on.
Some Ben is saying that we should just have one leg extending from the tube in the bottom, so it like hop on one foot.
One-legged toilet paper. Oh God.
Uh,
Um,
well,
so
do you
let's
know?
see.
I don't know if every clip is, but a lot of toilet paper holders have like it's like a double cylinder that's got like a spring, so it's almost like it could be that, and it like bounces on it. I mean, you usually just do some like cute like bendy arms, but I'm
Yeah,
trying to
there.
think. I mean, I like the bendy arms because it's kind of
Yeah,
like
I
it's
mean
inanimate and it
that's.
does. Yeah.
Yeah,
If we're doing EJ style, it just has to
yeah, I
be
mean that's
very
all I do,
stylized look.
man.
But now Spear Factor is countering with 4 legs.
We got just a little bit of imperfection there with the displacement.
Man, displacement's the greatest thing.
It's the best. Probably a little rounding. So we got something like that. Let's hide that. And the fun part is making the old eyeballs in the
Making
face.
the eyeballs. So do you have like an eyeball rig you like to do, or is it
Yeah, typically like I'll just copy and paste eyeballs from another scene and drop them right in. But this is basically, I'll show like my actual workflow here. So there's an eye. Sometimes you could do like the pupil as like just a texture, but I'll do a separate thing there. This looks like crud, but what I like to do is throw this in an FFD. So I'll group that. So this FFD will affect both of these. And let's go and fit to parent that, shrink it down, and then I'll just select all of these points. Command A, T for scale.
nice?
Shrink this down. Now,
Parametric squishing.
yeah, the great thing about this is I can rotate this around and it's still squeezed.
That is cool.
So if you want to do like a eye rig or something like that, you can totally do that.
I escaped.
So let's up the segments. And now you can really see if I rotate this.
Crossfader saying, make googly eyes. That's a cool idea, and I'd love to do that at some point, but I think we'll be able to eat up all of our time quite easily here.
I have a tutorial on googly eyes on my
nice.
website, actually.
Yeah. Back at GSG, we were giving away a free set of googly eyes. It had 2 different options. One was like espresso driven and one was dynamics driven.
Oh, awesome.
But yeah, googly eyes are fun.
Symmetry.
Nice.
So now it's always the creative decision is how big do we want these eyeballs? Do we want them super big?
Oh, now try really tiny and close together.
Yeah.
I did like really big, but that might take away from the toilet paper.
All right, so let's hide that FFD. One thing I like to do too is maybe hit 0 to get my rectangular selection. Just kind of bulge this out just a little bit.
Yeah, totally.
And now do the mouth. It's going to be a very simple kind of rig here. Simple mouth rig. Because trying to, box model and inner extrude a mouth on this geometry would be, it wouldn't be that bad.
Yeah, keeping it parametric is a good idea
I like
for
to keep
right
it
now.
parametric. And let's first save.
That's a good idea. There's also are you going to use a surface deformer perhaps?
For the flappy part?
Well, depending on what you're doing with the mouth, you could just make a flat mouth and then project it onto the geometry.
Oh, yeah.
So then you can work very 2-dimensionally, but you get the 3D automatically.
So that's the one? What should I name this? Just TP?
That's fine. Just put EJ at the end so we know you're the last one to touch that file.
Okay. My last one to touch the TP. So yeah, surface deform. Another thing, we'll see if this works actually. Well, I don't know. Because sometimes you could do the project, but sometimes it doesn't work. So we'll go in the front. here. And go like this.
Oh, it's already adorable. You haven't even closed the spline, and it's cute.
Something like that. I'm really OCD about my spline points. Like, just gotta match them up, make it nice and curvy. So this is like one way to make the mouth is like because there's so few points, you know, that it's actually not that hard to just kind of move this into place and then just move these 2 points back. But I don't think I've tried that surface deformer thing. So let's do that.
Now it might be a little weird on
this only has a few points on it, you know.
Yeah, but put that into a loft or an extrude. No, do a loft. Yeah, definitely do a loft.
Yeah.
And then we can give the loft as many subdivisions as we want to, I think.
So the loft I usually do just for the mouth, but I want to do the lips. So
yeah, okay. So
what I'll do for that is throw that in a not Mo instance.
If you're doing that, then we might need a more heavily subdivided spline, and that gets more complicated. But it might work. I'm not sure.
And then let's grab our circle spline. Man, I'm still getting used to these dang menus. Circle. What? So the great part about this is that you have this one spline. It has the thickness on it, so you can throw a texture on the inside of the mouth. You're using that same spline to drive the actual lips, which is nice.
Honestly, I don't think we need to use we don't need to use a surface deformer. We could just use a bend deformer or the is it the warp deformer? Don't use that one too often.
Oh, warp. Yeah, warp. Yeah, because we have a cylinder here. So yeah,
but the bend, it's a cylinder, so we could. But honestly, a bend deformer works just as well as long as you center it or you off center it.
Yeah. All right, let's use a bend. And I guess do both these. And whoop. That's the eyes. I'm like accidentally renaming things here.
Yeah.
And
oh, give him fangs.
The vampire TP.
Vampire TP.
I want to. I don't even want to go there.
Yeah, we can't finish that sentence.
Don't want to do
anything that would be appropriate to finish that sentence would be inappropriate to actually say.
Brain was working. My mouth was going. Luckily behind that. So let's do this.
Perfect.
Limited.
Yep. So what EJ is doing here is if you set it to unlimited, it actually bends the opposite direction on the other half. So by splitting the difference, it's actually going to bend both ways. And from the top view, he's going to be able to match the curvature. I guess it should be, probably a perfect negative 270.
There we go. Just got to center that up.
Which is the same as a positive 90. So that's just because we're on a perfect cylinder. We didn't have to do anything fancier than that. And a bend deformer is certainly reliable.
Yep. And then just pull this out. Shrink that a little bit.
And once again, because that's being deformed via a bend, it should be really easy to animate those 4 points and follow.
Right. Yeah. So
on the mouth, and we don't have to worry about it.
Do a pose more for something like that. Just to animate it. Super easy. Let's see. Let me just space these eyeballs out a little bit more. Whoop. Something like that. So we either have the eyeballs there, have little arms there. So I think I want to do that. Let's put the mouth down here. And nice. Maybe we have him. This is always when I have a little fun. Make him like cross-eyed or something.
Yeah.
And also play around with like the pupil size. Like, is he hyped up on coffee?
I think he should be.
I think we want like a crazy toilet paper roll. Like he's trying to get away. Like everyone's trying to grab him, and he's just like, nope, can't catch me. I'm the toilet paper man.
Yeah, he'd be a little manic right now.
Yeah. Or out like that. There, I like that. Should he be running away in fear? Or like just goofily running? I think goofily running would be kind of fun.
Yeah. Let's see. Somebody's asking about what if we wanted the eyes to be completely flat. Wait, hang on. What?
Use a disc.
I always suffer.
I should be checking the chat, huh?
Hang on. No. You're good to work. I'm keeping an eye on the chat.
Okay.
Definitely somebody away. Somebody says.
Yes.
Yeah, he doesn't like his job. I'm not. Well, the real question is like if he's unraveling, do the eyes go with the sheet, or do they stay on the body as it gets smaller and smaller? Eventually, the eyes would just be on the tube.
Yeah, that'd be funny.
These are like the questions that Pixar movies bring up, where it's like, wait a minute, like, how do the cars build these buildings? They don't have hands,
right? Something's like, what if toys had a soul? What if?
Well, that worked. I think that's actually the one that works the best. Each movie breaks it more and more, but the simple idea that when you're not looking, the toys are alive. Like I think every little kid thinks about that.
But it's like, what if toys had a soul? What if cars had a soul?
Yeah. What if a rat had the soul of a cook?
Right, exactly. And then it's like, well, what if feelings had a soul?
Yeah,
so it's like just deeper. Everything is Pixar. What if a robot had a soul?
Yeah, that's true.
Now I'm getting toilet paper references here. Let's see what's real toilet paper look like? It's kind of lumpy. Could always make like some kind of design on this, if you want the fancy TP. But I guess the big thing, so this is where we can like cheat a little bit, like we could have the role where, it looks like it's seamless, but you know what? We're just probably going to hide it in the back so you don't see that the actual floating, billowing in the wind part of the roll is.
Well, if I do that part, I'll make it match pretty well. So like it could. But we'll probably want to do some of the little stripy lines.
Yeah.
Like the cut points. I'm not sure.
Oh, the little perforations.
Yeah, the perforations on the sheets. I mean, there's not much that makes toilet paper, so we need to do that.
Make the eyes bulge a little bit more, I think.
Question on YouTube. I think your name is French, so I don't know how to pronounce it. Apologies, but it's like, how to make eyes, like sphere eyes, stick onto an uneven surface and match the normals. You can actually use the constraint tag really nicely on that type of setup, where you just say, "Hey, stick to this point," and oftentimes I wouldn't want the eyeball to directly stick. I'd put it into a null and then put the sphere or the eyeball into the null, and now you can move it relative to the point it's stuck. And then you can even go crazier where you could put multiple null constraints, and it's just I think a surface constraint inside of it, and you can put multiple ones and now link those together for rotating particular things. So it's just like, oh, here's 3 points, now you can lock an eye completely to it. Toilet story will be next from Pixar.
So what if toilet paper had a soul? When I like to make things look a little goofy, I like to give it buck teeth. So maybe we can add some buck teeth here, and that's fairly easy to do. Because all you need to do is just could just place things, or you could clone onto that spline the teeth.
Oh, nice. You could also create it and put in a line to spline, and they would also lock to it. But the clone is a way of getting multiple teeth and having them automatically.
Let's do that. Let's get crazy here. Let's get some capsule chiclet teeth. Clone that onto
capsule. Interesting.
Yeah. See how that works. Clone on that spline. Yeah, we need this to face the other way. Oh. Just do this.
Ah!
Now he's got fangs. And then what we could do is just kind of flatten. Whoop, not that. Flatten like that. Let's do the end. Offset. And let's do this. Even. Let's give just 2 buck teeth there. And
clones and splines play so nicely together.
Yep. Now what we could do is, let's see, move this, not that, move this down.
Boom.
Whoop, don't want that. Let's just make this height smaller.
Very nice. I like it.
And something like that.
Johnny said if you mix enough EJ tutorials, you could do a cartoony character with googly eyes sticking on it, moving limbs, textured as a cartoony toy.
It's all there.
You combine everything.
Package.
Yeah.
The complete package. All right, so I think we're ready for perforations.
And somebody said it should have little hearts for its patterning.
Little hearts?
For its quilted patterning.
Oh, there you go.
I'm not sure how to go about doing that. I mean, it just potentially
turns into all that stuff is texture. Like, I would just think textures, yeah.
Yeah.
Like even the perforations, the perforated bits, it's texture.
Now, would you go into like Photoshop for that type of thing and just make an image for yourself, like a black and white image, and bring it in as a bump or
actually, let's try this. We're not using Redshift yet, but what we could do is, should I use Redshift? You want me to do things?
Yeah, we can do Redshift.
Okay.
Just really talk your way through it, because we don't get to. I can fumble my way through Redshift, but I can't be like, oh, here's why I'm doing it. It's more like just keep clicking until it works. I don't know it well enough because I just don't render that often.
So really the only thing is
also save.
Yes, let's save.
Save often.
Yeah, especially when you bring in third-party renders that crash everything all the time. Thing with Redshift is if we make a new, still getting used to Redshift. Make a new Redshift material, and then we open that up. And for some reason on my hacky Mac, it doesn't update there. But we have this color.
It won't update there while your viewport is rendering. Your render.
Oh, so that's just the thing.
Yeah, if you turn it off, I think it's the same way. What's amazing is that the Cinema physical renderer, you can actually be like the renderer is the same thing that's rendering out the material icons, which is also rendering out what's in the viewport, which is also what's rendering out into the picture viewer. And Cinema can actually do all three at the same time, which is actually super impressive. But I don't think the third-party renders can. Like if you start rendering out Redshift to the picture viewer, you can't run your render view. Like the engine is taken up by that. That's true. Redshift is technically no longer a third-party renderer. But you know, it's not fully integrated, and it's not built in-house, so it's kind of straddling that line right now.
Right. This is kind of bugging me a little bit. Let's bring that.
Also, I guess we can deal with it when we get there, but we're still streaming just fine, but my XSplit, which is what we're streaming from, isn't allowing me to make any changes. I can't even move it. So once we swap off your screen, I'll probably have to kill it and start it again.
Okay.
But I think we're still a little ways from that.
So I'm just gonna kind of walk through Redshift as if people are completely new to it.
Yeah,
I think that works. Okay. So one of the things when I was learning Redshift was this shader graph. Every texture is node based in Redshift. So if you've used Octane before, like you have the option whether you want this node based interface or you just want your basic, Uber material basically is what you're used to in Cinema 4D. With all these different channels, but actually on surface level, you have all your familiar channels, material channels in the Cinema 4D shader, but this Redshift material node, if you just click on it, that's the same stuff. We have diffuse, we have your reflection or roughness, refraction, transmission, and we even have like subsurface, which is just single subsurface, and it's really, really easy and easy to use. So we don't want shiny. We don't want shiny or see-through TP necessarily. But none of these things we really need to worry about. Yeah. So a lot of this stuff, like just to say that the basics Redshift material, like for plasticky kind of stuff, is really easy to do.
We're getting some people asking how you're running Redshift while on a Mac.
So that is because I'll take my camera here. I know I'm just in the little corner there, but I have a eGPU set up right here. So inside this box with my Mega Man is a 1080 Ti. You can see it right there.
Yeah.
So this is a Sonnet breakaway box. It's like $200-$300, and you just throw in a 1080 Ti. If Andy Needham's in the chat there, he's got a dual setup, so he's like the master at this stuff. But basically, the one thing you can't do is update past High Sierra OS, so it's kind of hacky. But it works. I'm able to use Redshift. But a website that I always recommend is egpu.io. I'll type it in the chat here. gpu.io. So whether you're on a MacBook Pro, a Mac Pro, as long as it's running one of these older operating systems that still supports CUDA, is great. Or, get a PC. Or wait until Metal is supported by Redshift and Octane and all that stuff, which who knows when that will actually happen. But
I mean, when they were getting the questions about that when they first pick it up, I think they were like, yes, that is the plan. We want to make sure it's fully compatible. But who knows on timeline?
Yeah, because what you don't want to do is have it out and then it supports, 50%, 60% of the full featured thing, and how can you work with people who use PC if you're sharing files and stuff like that? So I get it. But anyway, so yeah, this is like your basic Redshift material, whatever. But if you want to do like a little bump, the one thing I was thinking is that actually now it's probably not going to work too well. I was going to say you could do like a tile shader, but then you'd have to limit it and mask it out to just being one thing. So
I mean, if the UVs right now, it should just be UV on the top. So if you were just spin it.
Oh, if we want to do like the bumps on the top.
Well, we can. Yeah, the top. We can texture the top and the sides separately for sure.
Yeah, but I was thinking the perforation bits here.
Yeah.
So let's see. It's easy enough to do like the spiral tile thing for the top. We could try that.
Is there a spiral?
I think there's a spiral. So let's just go to, if you want to add C4D materials in here, just type in C4D and there's C4D shader. Just drag in there. And here is your familiar. Move this out of the way. Your familiar shader little drop down menu, so you can go to say tiles. Surfaces, tiles. There we go.
Yeah, okay. I thought there was like a Redshift specific one, but you're bringing in the Cinema one.
No, yeah, that's the great thing about this is you can bring any C4D shader in here and kind of pump it into whatever. Let me hide all this crap.
Tobias is also saying that we could just do a gradient where you like just do a single stripe of black. And we could tile a looped gradient. If we
there you go. Yeah, and just build up like a layer shader. All right, yeah, let's do the perforations first. I don't know why I blew that out. There's a tile. Now, the annoying thing with the tile, I'll just close this out, is when you click the tile, it shows up here. So it's not like within this unless you twirl it down. So, I mean, you just got to make sure that, you know that that's hidden, so you twirl that down. But then at this point, you just do like we would need lines, right? And let's do white. One thing to easily populate each of these color tiles is just click and drag and hold. I didn't know that for the longest time. feel like an idiot.
Dude, when I find that out, you can even do it like in between. You can grab the color of the color
and then
channel,
go up
drag
here.
it into the luminance channel, and
just
amazing.
drag it anywhere.
Yeah, drag it anywhere in Cinema.
Man. And I don't know if we should do the grout or like the tile color. I've always never known if you want to.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what your plan is.
Let's just do that. I don't like dealing with the stupid grout. Sometimes it gets really janky with the edges and it's aliased and
grout width, bevel width. Yeah, the aliasing is real
janky,
real weird.
Okay, so we have our tile. So this is kind of would be the perforation, but we need to get just a little stripe, and actually we need to have it like this. Wait, no,
I think you
like that. Yeah. So now let's grab our layer shader, and
doing it all in the Cinema materials.
Yeah. I don't know how to do stripes and stuff. I mean, unless you just bring in a texture, it's easy to use in Redshift, but so let's do.
I guess you do it with gradients, but that could get to be difficult.
Yeah.
No, let's keep doing it the way.
Yeah, let's do it this way.
Well, you can't do this with the gradient. Yeah.
So just a little little thing right there.
There you go. There's your stripe.
And there's the stripe. And go back to our layer and just multiply. Boop. So we got a thing. Let's maybe make this. Actually, the one thing about if you wanted to tile this, you want to keep the global scale in the C4D shader at 100% because you'll have like clipping and it won't be a seamless pattern,
Yeah. Well, if you did like even numbers, it can still work. So like 200, 400, 800.
Yeah. So something like this, as long as, exactly. But you don't want like 55 because that'll be cut off.
Yes. Exactly.
Like it will do 50. And probably.
Are you using a tablet?
I am.
Asking. Which one do you use?
I have the Wacom Intuos Pro. So it's the touch screen. It's really nice. I don't have the 3D pen that has the extra button on it quite yet. I need to grab it. This one doesn't have the middle mouse button on it. So that's the 3D version of this pen. I think it's like $70. I should just get it. But okay. So probably need to make this a little skinnier. I guess we'll just see how this looks. So that's our texture. And I guess we'd want this to affect the bump or displacement or something. So for that, what we need to do with the C4D shader for Redshift to be able to use it is we need a texture question mark. Yeah, Redshift texture. So you need to do a little bit of conversion here, right? So we're pumping our C4D shader into our, this works exactly like Espresso nodes. So general image texture, okay, and then we have this out color, and we have all these little options here like gamma, adjust. One thing that's important is like the depth and the width and height, because this is like the actual resolution of your texture. So probably get by with 1280 by 1280, we'll see. And since it's just black and white, 8-bit depth is fine. And now to use this as like a bump, we put this into the Redshift material here and go to overall, and there's your bump input right there.
Don't we have to feed that to a height?
Oh,
or is that
yeah, that's right. Nope, you're right. So we have, let's height, displacement.
Bump? I don't know. There's something that does it.
Yeah, bump. Oh, duh. Yeah, bump map. Yeah, so there's all these little things that like got to get the C4D shader to convert into Redshift texture. Then you need to put this into a bump map thing. And output this into the bump.
The important thing to keep in mind when it comes to node-based systems is instead of having every property everywhere, you have to pull in specific properties when it's relevant to you. And as the world goes more and more node based, it's important to kind of keep those concepts in mind, because right now in Cinema you can only use a setting that they give you. But if you can kind of bring in the raw settings, whatever they're appropriate, then you can build much more advanced things potentially.
Right. So this does make sense. It's just, again, I'm very new to this, but like basically why you need that Redshift bump map before you put that in the bump input, because here is your bump settings now. Without that, you had no way to adjust any of this stuff. And typically, so let's go ahead and let's apply this material. Let's get our Redshift render view open here. And so already you can see on the top,
something's
happening. So you can see this is the height scale, so that can adjust that. One thing I'm seeing is kind of like a embossed kind of deal going on there. But now what we need to do is worry about how we're mapping this texture. Let's see what's going on the backside here. So you can see that, okay, we're getting it. It's really big, and it's going to the top here. So what I'll need to do is just kind of do a selection. And is it okay if I make this editable?
Make a copy of it just so we have a backup, but
probably save again. TP. Make that editable.
Everybody's going to think this is an episode about thinking particles, but it's about
So let's do our Fong break selection there. Just select the edges.
I got to start remembering to do that intuitively.
There's so many different helpful things. And so I'm just going to drag and drop that material on there. Automatically applies that polygon selection. Now, where'd our thing go?
Where'd it go?
Where'd you go? What happened? Material was there.
Go back to the material real quick. Material tag.
Oh, height scale is 0.
Oh, there you go. That would do it.
That would do it. No bump if it's at 0. So now, I mean, we can do the hacky, do cylindrical, and then do the scale here.
And that's true. Oh, does that work? Is there a seam? I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that test. Dean, keep going. But Dean is saying that we could have kept it parametric and used C1, C2. Does C1, C2 exist on a tube? I'm gonna find out on my own, and then I'll let you know.
No, it doesn't have caps.
Yeah, it's not caps. If this was an extruded shape, that would work.
If this was, I think you're thinking of cylinder, not tube object. I'm pretty sure.
This is a tube.
The cylinder.
Even the cylinder
has its caps, and that is designated as C1. But that's if it does. I'm
on a cylinder right now, and it does not apply C1 and C2. So maybe in R21, when they merge the caps, that doesn't happen anymore. Now you could do it if we had built it completely different and we had made a couple of circle splines and then extruded them upward. Then yes, technically we could do this, but that's not the way we did. So we'll just keep going.
So let's make this big enough so we don't have these seams right in his face. Or maybe we have it right down the center there.
Yeah, definitely need one. Yeah,
there you go. So like.
Now we need to make the line real thin.
Yeah. And we need we do negative. Let's do -1. Make that indent.
Oh yeah, push them in.
Push it in.
Oh, look how much better that is automatic.
Yeah, look at that. And then we go into our shader here.
That's correct, Scott. We are not using displacement. I don't think this calls for displacement.
No, that's like grenade to kill a bee or something.
Yep.
But I actually did just learn that displacement, you can't just throw a displacement material on something and be done and call it done.
Yeah, it's so frustrating.
Have to throw on that Redshift object tab.
Yeah, and then tessellate it, and the tessellation is very specific parameters.
Yeah. Can I make this bigger?
Yeah. Usually, just click the upper right button inside of your mode. So go upper
right in mode.
Up, go up to stop. Right down. It's going to be right there. So all the way to the right of that bar. All the way to the right. All the way there. Click that one. And now maximize this window.
pro tip.
And then, I mean, and you can also expand this and type in the manual numbers on the knots, but I blow it up to full screen all the time.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. It's cartoony. You want to pop out a little bit more than a normal one would, and then
maybe do we want more perforations?
I don't know. I was just wondering that, and we could probably tile it via this. We could also tile it via probably the tiling naturally in the material if we wanted to do vertical tiling. But yeah, let's see how it looks.
Does that look good? It looks pretty good.
Yeah, I like it.
All right. And actually, maybe we do want some of the grout to kind of soften that.
Yeah, you gotta be careful because you could obliterate it if you're not careful, but a little bit could be good.
Zoom in there. Let's get real close and personal with our TP.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I think it reads. That's good enough for that.
Yeah. Maybe we can tweak that forever. There's our TP material.
Did you make it slightly not translucent, but like a little bit of like an inner glow type of thing, just for like the lights bouncing around inside of it?
Yeah. So let's actually add some lights here. Let's do a area light. TP after dark. Bring up a 4-up view. Something like that. And let's throw in dome light just to brighten everything up a little bit.
Little bit.
A lot of bit.
Whole lot of bit.
Bring that down. Let's bring down our lights here.
I like how we barely see anything, and he still looks super crazy.
Bring down that. Get all those overexposed areas out of there. Something like that. Save. I'll make these bigger, baby. Whoa.
Whoa, whoa.
Back. Bigger.
Lighting.
2-point light setup. Why not?
Yeah. Sort of 3. You get an ambient.
Sort of 3. Yeah, we've got the ambient going on. Painting with lights with E.J. Ross. There we go. All right. So that's looking good. Not too overexposed or anything like that. And what else do we need? Do you want me to do that top texture as well? A little spirally?
Yeah.
We want to do the translucent.
Yeah. And we also will need a neighbor of this material to be applied to the top.
And we actually need... we just need a material also without that.
Yeah, but we can just... Let's make this one on the side, and once we like it, we can make a copy of it and then remove the bump. Instead of tweaking both again and again and again.
So let's create a new...
No, not yet.
No?
Yeah, just finich the... Were you just doing like some translucents? Yeah. Do that first. Otherwise, we have to make every change to both materials.
Right. So, yeah, let's do... Do you want to do some subsurface?
Isn't there really... What's the... I'm trying to think of what the setting is. There's a very simple setting. I gotta just open up the material on my end and take a look.
Or transmission?
Is it? Yeah, transmission maybe. It's just like a.
That's just let's just get to see through a little bit.
Is that what that does? Let's see. Subsurface. Maybe it's just.
We have reflection all the way up.
There's also backlighting. Maybe it's just a little bit of backlighting.
Yeah, backlighting. Yes.
I think that's what I was thinking of. Reach the top.
Oh, right. Right like that.
Yeah, just
that's good. Why not?
Not too much. Just a little bit of light color. Bounce it around inside of it.
Color. Okay.
Nice.
And now let's add a top texture now. Yes.
Yeah. Now
I'm
we just
liking that.
copy that one.
With the fit.
Yeah, that looks real nice and soft. Yeah, it looks. I mean, it looks pretty cuddly.
What's that? Should we add some bump to the actual material?
Oh, that would be a good idea. Just feed a C4D noise in, just get a little bit of something going.
Bring on the noise. So they have the built-in texture, and this version doesn't have the C4D noises built in yet. I think that's still in beta. Is it?
Do you not have that copy?
No, I think it's like a new version, and that's the other thing with using the old or using Mac and having this janky setup is that sometimes the latest and greatest doesn't quite work. Right? Sometimes.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't even know what version this is.
But I have the one with the noises, so.
Okay. I don't have the noises yet.
We'll have to be careful about sending those things back and forth.
Right, exactly. So let's just do, what am I doing? Noise. And then we need the Redshift texture. I'll just duplicate that. We will, I guess I would put this in the, I would need to combine two different bumps. Huh. How would I do that?
People definitely want some. Yeah, I wish we had. I'm taking out the chat.
Or should this be? Can we do this like as a displacement?
Well, we said we wait. What are you trying to do? I'm sorry. I'm a sentence or two behind.
Should we just do this at the bump as a displacement?
What are you bumping? Oh, the noise.
Noise.
Yeah, you like can do you can feed it into another bump and then mix them with a there's a bump blender.
Oh, there's a bump blender?
Yep. I think if you search for
bump blender.
Yeah, look at hey. You mix as many bumps together as you want.
All of the bumps. So we'll need this bump in here. Right? Input.
Yeah.
Input and out. This will be bump input 0. Or should this be the base? Maybe this is the base.
Yeah, so people are saying we should get some logos or something, some sort of pattern on the paper, but we'll see.
Rocket Lasso toilet paper.
Yeah, we're gonna run out of time, and I think we got a lot more we want to do. So let's not go. Yeah, we'll do. Let's get this noise on here, and then call that texture good.
Yeah. So bump input. Put that there.
Out to that. And I'm not sure how the blender works. Oh yeah, there's a blend weight. So now I think you just start blending them a bit.
Okay, yeah. So there's our thing that's back. Let's go into our shader, make this times 20 times 20. Whoop. And let's get this bigger noise. Or actually, no. Let's do it like a fine noise.
What's what noise? Those are cinema noises. Do an FBM noise.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Where's FBM?
Do it via text, not the dropdown. Click on the word noise instead of the little picture dropdown.
Duh. God.
We're so spoiled now knowing about that little preview that we don't think to use the original.
Right.
But yeah, what's great about FBM is essentially what it is noise layered on top of noise at a different scale. So it's noise on noise on noise on noise. So you kind of get all the, you get like big and medium and small noises all layered on top of each other.
Yeah, so look at that.
Yeah, that's
got that nice texture going on. Little imperfections there. That's some TP. That's some good looking TP. So let me just throw on some like really simple shiny materials. And then I'll give it to you. And you can just create the flowing bit.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, we got some time. So yeah, I'll take over for a little bit, figure out a little bit of stuff, and then we'll keep going from there.
Material. Let's do. This will just be, I'll name these eyes. This will be TP ticks.
Look at EJ being nice and organized.
Yeah, look at me go. It's only because I'm on a live stream. I need to We need to fix that tiling though. That's where I need to know what's going on with that.
Basil is saying we should make sure to turn on additive inside of the bump blender so that we get the maximum combination of the bump.
Maximum bump. Okay. Bump blend. Whoa.
Whoop, undo.
Nope.
I don't know. I didn't see it.
Oh, additive mode.
Oh, look how squishy.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I want to hug him.
About the additive mode. We'll bring that back a little bit. The one thing I do want to know is why this is. I think it's because I scaled down this texture overall. I'm using these,
I see.
The length and all that.
Well, no. What I'm thinking that could. Oh, is that the tiling?
Yeah.
What I'm thinking is that it's converting the Cinema 4D and the bake, because it has to bake down anything from Cinema, and that bake might have weird edges. I don't know this for a fact, but that's my guess. At the resolution I'm viewing you, because I can't rescale my X split, I'm having trouble seeing it. When did those appear?
So let's.
Oh yeah, just like somebody's saying, just switch to the Redshift noise, and that should probably
Redshift noise, and that'll okay.
Yeah, and I mean the type of noise we're using here, this should be pretty similar. Did it go away? Yeah, that's probably gonna work.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'll do it. I just hate how all these fractal doesn't do crap.
Yeah.
Turbulence.
Yeah, that's the reason we love our Cinema 4D noises.
Yeah.
I mean, you could. We got more to do, so we can't spend too much time on it. But you probably take those and layer several of them up, but not worth doing right now.
Why did I?
Somebody's saying fractal would be the best of them, but yeah.
Fractal. Okay.
I don't have too much experience on it, but I think fractal is probably similar to FBM.
Okay, there we go. You just really got to crank up that height scale to see anything. Oh, okay. All right. Whatever. Yeah. That'll do. Let's put our shiny materials here. Give a little roughness. And let's just throw a noise for our reflection roughness. So we get a little bit of variation there.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah. And we could, so many things to play around with on these things, but let's make this texture white. And then let's make this the eye or the pupil. And what color should our toilet paper's pupils be?
And we could just go for the full contrast where it goes black, but if he's kind of crazy, it could also be, I'm kind of thinking like a red-orange.
Then we can give him
that looks like an M&M now.
And then this could be the lips, and we'll make this like a blue
lips.
Blue lips. Not two lips, blue lips. Like that. Oh, that's the loft. Whoops. Sweep. And then just turn. Let's get just mouth. Let's make this dark.
Mr. Matt Dog is saying yellow eyes and brown pupils. I kind of like that idea.
Yellow eyes and okay.
Just slightly sickly looking.
There's the loft. And
nice.
So yellow eyes, brown pupils.
For such a you stick some eyeballs in the mouth on pretty much anything, and it just looks absolutely adorable. Like that looks so cuddly. I mean, he's crazy looking, but at the same time, I wouldn't mind if he was sitting on my bed.
Just as long as he's clean. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he looks less cuddly once it goes yellow.
Yeah, he looks very sickly.
Yeah, now he's
bloodshot.
Now I don't want to get near him. He's
Yeah.
got the blue lips,
I
so
don't
he
know.
doesn't have enough.
He
Yeah, it's
needs
true.
to look. He needs to look attractive, and people want
Yeah,
this
people want
TP.
him, so we probably
People
should go
want
back
it. We don't
to.
want the sickly
Yeah,
TP.
yeah, I'm with you.
One thing I do want to try is like, what does this look like if his iris is black and his pupil is white?
I think we're going back to him being a vampire now with the fangs.
Yeah, that's true. Now it's like Adventure Time.
Yeah.
Let's not do that.
It reads more like a highlight in the eye instead of a
Right,
pupil.
exactly. Whoops, that's purple.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, let's do purple. Why not?
Okay, 2 quick things to do then. Let's duplicate the white material and kill off the perforation. And so
Right.
we get the top and bottom, and then we need the spiral. And then actually we didn't think about it, but
TP.
we need a thin tube in the middle to be the brown roll.
Oh, right. We need that brown. How we make TP without the brown?
And then I'll try and deal with the sheet of paper coming off of it.
So much potty jokes. So that was that. So there's the TP there. So this is the one on the top. We still have
looks
perforation. Bump.
I mean,
oh, did I apply the new one?
Yeah, I think it might not.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, nice. And I mean, it's just got the same texture, but I think the spiral will make it read. So I'm curious how you're going to make the spiral. Does actually, I guess Redshift does render. You can render a Redshift hair type of thing, can't you?
Yes. Let's do. Is that just a Redshift? I've actually never done it before.
We had to do. Well, I guess you were never doing the Redshift. You've gotten
I didn't
Redshift
do
in a big way because
I don't think we had any time to get into any of the texturing things during our presentations on the 3D Motion Tour. We had so much just base knowledge to throw at people.
Yeah. Well, we were more interested in showing off fields and field forces and some of the cool dynamic stuff instead of doing some. I mean, material stuff tends to be pretty meticulous. It's what's going to give you the entire look, but it is meticulous.
It's more technique. I mean, I guess you could go creative, like how to make a creative texture, but I think it was mostly like, this is how this works, you know?
I think we keep this simple. Just duplicate the simple white material and just make it brown.
Right. We'll keep the one with the texture.
Yeah. No point in putting the spiral in there. We're not going to be seeing down the center point. Yeah. You do have to. We can render out the tag. We can render out the spline, but we have to apply a Redshift tag to it.
And, object tab. Yep.
Yeah, and I think there's a specific checkbox. I'll double check it now while you're doing this. Redshift.
For once, the tube is actually the tube.
Oh yeah, the tube is being a tube.
I don't even have to rename that. Let's give it a little bit more thickness though. And more segments. Oh, right. Make it a little darker. All right.
All right. Very nice.
All right. Okay. Spiral, and we're going to go to our helix. We are going to go to Redshift, tags, object.
And as long as it's not a spline, then you get this curve setting. There's a curve tab.
Oh, curve.
And then enable. And I'm guessing hair strand will be the way to go. But it's going to need a material as well so that knows what you're looking for. But that turns into somebody in the chat shout out. I think you need to make like a hair node or something, or maybe there's an entire Redshift hair material.
This is the hair material.
Okay. Yeah, there's a hair material. That should be it. That's simple then. Apply that and...
Oh, thickness. Let's see. Let me just see if this is even doing anything at all.
Oh, somebody says any material will do, but yeah, let's make sure. We need to see something.
Yeah.
Hair strand, sample, don't need that.
Let's make color I just want to see if I see anything here.
Oh, yep, something's there.
Oh, oh, that's super thick.
But yeah, just everybody's just saying you use a basic material, so just make a
Oh, okay.
like just take
like a normal material. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's just see if this purple works. Oh yeah, look at that.
Nice and straightforward. Nice. Yeah, super thin.
Something like that. And then I'll just make. I did not know you could just apply regular materials.
Yeah, that's cool.
So we'll just make this like a gray. That's shiny. Let's not make this shiny. Bring that weight down. Don't need that noise.
And then
just move this.
I don't know if this is. I'm not sure what it looked like, but somebody said change the hair in the object tag into cylinder instead of hairs.
Oh, okay.
And it might make it more rounded because right now there's definitely a.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
perfect.
Instead of it feeling like what do you call it? I'm totally blanking on the word. What's a shiny metal property? Anisotropic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
so I'm not sure if
good.
make it really thin. Like I think we just want a hint of this. So make those hairs.
Or I like the thick, and maybe just make the color just a little lighter, so it's super subtle. Close. So I mean, I like the.
Yeah, that's true.
Or you just make the spirals a little.
Yeah,
more angle there.
Or maybe less. Like there's so many of them, they're kind of eating everything up. So cut the spirals in half.
Yeah. So something like that.
Yeah, so it's
something
a little
stylized.
It's a little
so you can see it's there.
Yeah. Implied spiral.
Hashtag implied spiral. Let me just make sure this is like resting right on top. Okay. What? So that was better like that. Because it's like actually intersecting, but the hair is still visible based on that thickness that we had there, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. And you could even remap the thickness via the scale. So if you were inclined, you could make it spiral.
Really like make it a little more organic looking.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's definitely putting some emphasis in different spots.
Yeah. That's a little imperfections. Go a long way. Sure, whatever.
Basil's saying to try some AO stuff, but I think we'll keep that simple like it is right now.
Lost my viewer.
And somebody was asking why the material's all black, and it's because we're currently using the render view, so Redshift can't render the icons.
Oh, right. So I think that's I think if anything, maybe make this texture here. Maybe do 20 or 15. Just want to see more of the perforations there.
I mean, you don't want to do too many because then they start turning into like weird little long rectangles instead of kind of squares.
True. This is true.
Like
so we like that. We like that one right down the center.
Yeah, we definitely need one hanging out near the focal point. Yeah, that makes it really clear what it is. I think he's looking amazing. I love him.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So do you want me to hand this off to you?
Yeah, save it as a new version, and then I'll try and get a little bit of motion in there with maybe some. I'm trying to think of what the way I'm going to apply it is actually, because if we go full dynamic, if you use Softbody, you almost can't use Softbody because you can't pin it down. So this actually might be one of the rare opportunities where I would use cloth because we can pin it so easily. It just won't interact very well with other things. But if you make sure it's not colliding, then it could work.
All right, so I saved it out.
But at the same time, I kind of would want to maybe make a dynamic version of it and make a pile of them and have them all flopping around.
Yeah.
Of course, you'd want them to kind of fully unroll. But okay.
Do you want me to add legs to this guy? So we could just have legs, just no arms?
I don't know. I right now in my head, I'm picturing you just put that whole thing into a cloner and just make a stack of them rotated randomly and offset a little bit. And there's just like a pile of them. So they're not, they just have faces, but they don't have limbs.
Yeah. I can dig it.
So, but yeah, and then maybe just have one of them like wafting in the wind. Then,
You want
quick,
me,
yeah, go ahead.
do you want me to
Uh,
duplicate this
yeah,
guy?
yeah, get them all into a null and make sure the null's at the ground level. A
Let me
quick heads up
hide
to
this.
everybody in the chat. When we go to swap over to my screen, I'm probably gonna have to quit the stream and start it again, so you have to refresh. And that can
Fresh.
sometimes cause trouble in YouTube. So if it's not working in YouTube, then you might need to jump over to the Twitch version when that happens, because sometimes it starts a brand new stream.
Get the
So I'm going
tooths.
to in YouTube. I'm going to see if I can put a link to the
TP. Whoa.
Twitch.
I think I want to give him like maybe different facial expressions on some of these guys.
Oh yeah.
Oops. This is not centered. Whoops. I just hate that when you gotta just get a new null and then place everything underneath.
Yes. Sometimes you just need a new null.
TP1. How many TPs should we have? 2 or 3?
I'm trying to think. I don't know. I mean, I would probably, I don't know, maybe, yeah, you get all set up. I'll do that part, because I might make like a dynamic stack of them and have them all kind of all over the place. And
Okay.
I want to think if there's any way to like have each of them have a unique expression from each other too. But
Yeah,
I'll think about
yep.
that.
That's exactly what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, but right now you're doing it manually. I'm trying to think of a way of doing it inside of the
Oh,
cloner,
where
so
they
everybody automatically gets one.
That's a Chris question. That's
Yeah.
beyond EJ's capability. So we got that, and like that. Whoop. You should have them like kind of decently offset there.
Yeah.
So now let's give these guys different. Now this. Gotta move this light. And let's
Make a pack of those under blister. I don't know what that means. Referring to the chat.
you talking crazy?
Yeah, the shadows are making them look evil. Yeah, if we're making a lot of them, the lights might need to go pretty far away.
Yeah.
You could probably just make a null, put all the lights in the null, hit T, and scale the entire null way up, and it'll just take your lighting and just make it proportionally larger.
That's true. Okay. Now let's work on these faces. So for the eyes, for this one, I almost like it that some of these are looking at one another, maybe. So maybe this one is looking up. Maybe we rotate this one. Maybe this one's looking down.
Let's see. Yeah, I'm trying to think of how I would. Yeah, if I were to make the eyes automatically be able to update and do something crazy in a cloner. I'm trying to think what I would do with that.
Yeah, I don't. So they would what you're talking about is automatically.
Yeah,
Here, let's.
I might
So
have.
here's a
Yeah.
little trick on like. Okay, I want to make these eyes like look down and like to the side. I can't exactly do that with the symmetry. So what I'm going to do is duplicate the symmetry, flip, and then delete that symmetry, and delete that. Whoop, delete that symmetry, and we got 2 eyeballs. Now, what we can do is add a target tag, have this target null. Hopefully I'm doing this right. Whoop. And these are backwards. So, oh, actually, no, not target. Aim. Rigging, constraint, aim, and we'll aim this at this null. So I aim. And now what we can do is that's flipped still. So we can just zoop. Well, do both these. Flip both these. Let's see what's going on. Oh. There we go. That's working. Whoa. Although, crap. What did I do? Why is this FFD? Oh. Because the FFD is right over there. Fit to parent.
Yeah.
Fit to parent.
Oh my god.
Oh god, no. The humanity. Oh, it's got a -1 in there. There's all types of whacked out stuff going on. All right, what's the deal here? Oh, okay.
Oh, he's escaping the FFD.
What's there? It's just the axis center's goofed up. Something happened weird with that FFD when I flipped it. So there we go.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. FFD would potentially be strange. And then when you have the really tight tolerances, then you don't really have much option to move them around. So
Right.
usually it's good to leave a little bit of a margin on an FFD.
Just make it a little bigger. What the F, FFD?
With the FFD, man.
What the FFD? See this? Okay, this is all. It's all crazy. So now this is backwards. Back to square one. All right, that's the face. I tried to do this rig thing, and I think that flipping thing that I thought was so clever just broke everything.
Yeah, FFDs can be weird. Pull the render view up.
So I'll just change the mouths real quick.
Well, we're running out of time, so let's save it, and I'll try and take over a little bit.
Okay.
We'll see what we can do. All right, once that's saved, then, like I said, I'm gonna have to. I can't swap the screens, everybody, so I'm gonna have to probably kill it, and then we'll be right back. So give us one moment, and hopefully you'll see us. Did that get sent or saved, DJ?
Yep, saved.
Okay, let's see if I can successfully quit this thing. Nope, it's not even letting me right click. So to the task manager. Now where do I need my file browser? To the shared EJ folder.
See it.
Scene files, and is it, wait, which, I thought you named
guy EJ. Oh, that sounds weird.
Let's see.
Old TP guy
cool.
EJ.
I got it. We're good. Jessica! Jess is in the house. Hello. She just woke up.
Huh? What's up, Jess?
Okay, so I know you just spent all that time trying to make toofs. I like that. You just spent all that time trying to make them all fancy, but we're now going to kill off a bunch of them and just work from the one original one, which is the ground one. So we've got that, and we're going to see what we can do. A couple different things. We're going to see if we can make it waft in the air. We're going to make one sheet. Now, I've been trying to think of like the best way to do that, because I would kind of like to make a fully dynamic version of this. Mm-hmm. And that would be, he's not default height. What's the height of the cylinder?
Sorry.
Oh, it's all good. It's been made editable. Select that. It is 264. So we'll do
usually that. I'm very OCD about round numbers.
Yeah.
It just didn't happen to be right there.
Just not right here. That's all good. And now I need to probably, let's see, you beveled it. The bevel is actually going to make it pretty difficult, to tell you the truth, because now if we peel off, we have to be below the bevel or above the bevel. How do we follow the bevel? So a couple extra challenges there. I guess for now, I'm going to ignore the bevel, and I just want to grab all these segments vertically. And you can see right here, I have 22 polygons selected, so we should be able to subdivide this to height segments of 22. It might actually be one higher or one lower. Yeah, it seems to be one lower, and we do have to actually make it a little shorter, which should be that height, which I just copied, which is, yeah, just not quite going all the way up to the rounding. So what I'm trying to think is, how do I want to do this? Because we could just displace it and have it wiggle around that way. We could go soft body, but it's going to want to fall over if we do that, and we'll have to pin it in a bunch of spots, and that will be imperfect. We could do soft body, and that would actually lock it in place pretty well, but then it doesn't interact with other objects very well. So it's kind of, we have our choice of different systems, and none are going to do a perfect job for us, unfortunately. And even cloth doesn't like interacting with itself. Like, it's so slow. And we've got a decent number of segments here. I'd want to keep it relatively square. The fewer, the quicker it'll run. But so let's try. I'm going to try doing it with cloth. We actually use cloth very infrequently, so that could be a interesting place to start. I'm just going to eyeball this. I want to line it up pretty much right where that edge is, because that should be where the tangent is. And we'll do something like that. So this should be close. I'm going to copy and paste, make this one, turn that one off, make this editable, because we need to select our edges here. And now when we add the Cinema 4D simulation cloth, it is really simple to go to dresser and say set fix points. And now when I play, these should just start falling, and it's going to do its own thing falling. Now that's fine. Now the next step is going to be, how well can we make this interact with the object? And what I would like to do is do a very low poly version. So I'm just going to make a cylinder here, and we will give it no height segments, so it's just 16 segments around. We'll see if we can make that as a kind of invisible collider body for this extra strand that will be wafting around in the wind. So I don't know if we need to make it editable, but I'm going to add a simulation cloth collider, and let's just see what that does by itself. In fact, I'm going to save it right away, because we're dealing with the cloth, which is not the most reliable thing. So we'll hit play, and actually that seems to have done all right. It doesn't seem to be passing through that. I think it will pass through itself, but let's go and tweak some settings. This is behaving a lot like cloth. It's flopping around way too much. So we'll rename that sheet, and we let's go easy on the gravity. So I'm going to just do a gravity of -1. So yeah, there's just a little bit wanting to pull it down. And then we've also got in our tag settings, we got things like stiffness and the flexion, rubber, bounce, friction. These are all fine. I don't think we need much in the way of friction. Bounce, I don't even know if bounce really does much. But stiffness and flexion are the main settings. Now, I don't remember if flexion needs to be low or high when it comes to cloth. So let's try going really low, and it seems to bend a lot. And now let's go really high and see what that does. And that definitely seems stiffer. So I think, yeah, I think going stiffer on that's a good idea. Now, I don't know if this will work in theory, but we have one stripe here, and it's going to kind of really harshly bend off of that corner. So something I kind of like to do is grow my selection. I'm going to grow my point selection by 1 unit and fix those points as well. So if we have 2 of those stuck, then all of the springs, because even this cloth simulation uses similar springs to soft bodies. They're different, but they're similar, where it's trying not to bend. And if this one was here, they can kind of spin around them. But if we have 2 of them, then this has to bend on that corner. And I think that's going to do a better job of making this kind of maintain that orientation a little bit.
Have you ever tried, and this is a trick that I forget where I saw this at, but if you took that second row that you just added and unselect some of them, it'll actually help give you some kind of wrinkles there.
Oh, because okay. So you're introducing some imperfection.
Yeah,
that's a fine idea. So yeah, I'm going to deselect. It's a little hard to see, but because it's currently showing a preview of where the fixed points are, but I'm deselecting a couple of points here and there. And now I'm going to clear the fixed points and set them again. And now you can see I've left some in-betweens. Now this is still, you can see that it does kind of quickly introduce a couple little ripples in there. So that's neat. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And now I'm going to make a plane, put this down here. I'm even going to leave a few segments on it. And I just want to see how well we can make that also be a collider. And there we go. So that should, so that's actually doing a fine job of colliding with the ground. It's not super crazy.
It also makes this like him to have a cape. Like he's
it's superhero, like a superhero
toilet paper.
I wasn't even thinking about that. So let's see. I don't have Redshift running, but it did not render the icons. So I think that's a thing you have to I might have to manually do it. Render the materials, please. Bing, 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 bing. There we go.
I wonder if that fixes the stuff on mine. I've never been able to have those stupid materials.
Yeah. So let's see. TP main, TP texture. Is TP main the one that actually this one does want the stripes, so let's add that one. And turn on Redshift render view.
And materials that work for me.
We'll play and see what these are doing. It's doing a fine job. We just need it to connect a little bit better here. I'm trying to think of what the best way to make those blend. Well, you see we're getting kind of a ambient occlusion type of shadow separating them.
Mm-hmm. And maybe stick it where the
line is.
Or just the material.
Yeah.
But I mean, no one's going to see that side. That's the thing. So it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I'm trying. This is a tricky one. I mean, once again, it goes to like we're not perfectly matching this curvature, so that's introducing the tricky bit. Dean is saying we need a belt tag. I've never really used too much. I've never used belts too much, so it's actually not an area of expertise for me. And I'm pretty sure we won't be able to clone. We won't be able to clone cloth in a way that will be individually dynamic.
Now, when you use belt. So for this right now, can you animate the character and will that follow along with it? Or do you need a belt for that?
With the belt, I believe it would. Yeah. Now, I'm trying to see. We're at the time of 0, but here's the thing that's a big pain in the butt with this old cloth system is I'm trying to say like, I'm going to spin this and I want to move it to where the perforation is, but it's not going to let me because we've already locked it in place and that's going to fight. And I wish... Yeah. Leo, you're correct. The belts would follow. I'm just not super familiar with belts. So this is going to be me attempting to figure it out on the fly, which is dangerous. So we can create a cloth belt, and the cloth belt is belting on to something. I'm actually going to belt it onto this cylinder and say set. And I can click show, but I don't know what show is going to mean. That should be in theory belted on there. I'm going to save it again because I'm not sure what that's going to do. I think it's based on the fixed points. My hope would be if I grab this cylinder and just scoot it, it would move it. But actually, it is not. Actually, the cylinder does move, but that's not belt. The belt is not moving with it. Mm-hmm. Now I have to unfix the points. So how do you lock Oh, you set the. Oh, I see. You
Then you
set.
clear.
Okay, so let's clear those points. They're still selected. In the belt, I'll set those points, and now based on those points, the belt is referencing the cylinder. They're set. So if I play,
Well, I think with the
no, they're
cylinder,
just
you have to have the cylinder editable, or I wonder if you can use a correction deformer to select those points on the actual cylinder, because that's what you need to belt it on. Is a point selection.
Clear, set again. Okay, they turned yellow.
There you go.
So that should maybe be something. Okay, they do seem to be belted. I did make this editable, and I can try moving it. Yeah, if I move it, it's moving with it. And I belted it to the cylinder, so that's the invisible object. So that's fine. Now, hopefully, it's belted. Yeah, unfortunately, well, it's belted, but I want to still scoot this in the proper spot so our perforations align. At this point, the easier thing is just going to be to rotate the material. So, so let's see. That should be
far right.
TP. Yeah, that one. And now we can spin it. So we've got our offset. Yeah, offset U.
Or just rotate the object altogether.
Yeah. Actually, that's not a bad idea. That's actually I like that idea better because then we can align him. He'll be crooked when he's made, but it's all about them being relative. Oops, I made a render region. Okay, so yeah, I'll just spin him until he's lining up with his perforation. There we go. That's close. But it still goes to like I want that to smoothly. How do we make the shadow not show up? Is it just a little too close right now?
I don't know if you can do like is there a Redshift tag that you can say is that, I guess that's the ambient occlusion. Like there's a...
Well, I just forced it to intersect itself a little bit. So I think this tiny little bit of space between them is just enough to create that shadow. But yeah, I mean, some sort of like stopping them from casting shadow on each other. I know I do that in cinema, but I don't know.
I know there's compositing tags in Redshift. Let's see.
And then I also need to offset the material on the sheet here because it's not quite far enough back. Let's zoom it back there. Just keep scooting this a little bit more, and I'll just let that cut right off halfway on the edge. And when we're zoomed out, that should look pretty good. Yeah, so that should line up. Oh, and it's actually popping in the beginning a little bit, which I suppose makes sense. The gradient's probably not dead center, so just to save us a bit of a headache, I'm going to scoot that back a little bit, and the perforations will just be in a little bit. But there we go. That's there. And so, yeah, that's just... So we got one happy little guy. And then we can, I think we can put wind and whatnot, right? Yeah, it can take forces. Can it accept general Cinema 4D forces? I think it can.
Yeah.
So if we create a simulate force wind, then that's blowing backwards. And let's see what kind of effect we have. So we need way more frames, so let's increase that. And make it way stronger. We should see, okay, we do see a reaction pretty much right away. So there we go. Now that should be a little bit of a wind wafting back there.
A little collision there. Intersection.
Yeah. Well, that just goes back to us using cloth.
Can you collider. Add, what's the cloth equivalent of increasing the
steps?
Like that force field or whatever.
The force field. Well, there's the expert tab, and all we have is
expert. The point EPS edge. Yeah.
These can get dangerous.
Epsilon.
Yeah, these are nonsense parameters.
Which is like if you're adjusting the polygon like I don't get it. If you're adjusting the edge collision, aren't you technically? I don't know.
Yeah, it's like the absolute distance between them. So I just scoot that down a little bit. Yeah, I mean, it's just that, we're because of the belting, we're just using a simpler, older system. Yeah. Yeah, and it does have built-in ones, but some people talking about it in the chat. It does have the built-in ones. We're just using the ones that we have direct control over this way. What's that?
I said I keep forgetting the chat.
Forgetting the chat? How can you forget the chat? That's why we're here.
What's up, chat? Cloth sickness? Cloth sickness. Cloth thickness? Did you put it in a cloth object? Get more wrinkles?
No. I mean, oops. I was forgetting that. I accidentally rendered render view. I mean, we could add thickness, but I mean, it's a sheet of toilet paper. Is thickness a relevant variable here? If anything,
well, maybe if you put that in a cloth object though, with no thickness, just the subdivision, you'll get more of the wrinkles.
More of the wrinkles. I don't know that I follow, but I'll put it into a cloth.
Because you add more subdivisions, right?
Oh, well, no. You don't get wrinkles because of subdivisions. That's just subdividing after the fact. So this we could... Actually, I just put the wrong object in there. Yeah, so we can get tons of thickness here. 0.2, perhaps. But yeah, we don't want to subdivide.
Yeah, okay. Fine.
I mean, we could subdivide, but we'd have to subdivide at the simulation level.
Yeah,
so this entire thing would have to be more deeply simulated. And I'm not sure if putting that...
what's the setting that allows for more reflection?
Well, we're not in Softbody, so we only had one setting to play with, and that was...
Oh, that's right.
Flexion. So we're using
maybe rubber will tighten it up a little bit.
Well, I'm not sure. Do you want more or less wafting in the wind? Because I did a lot of things to stop it from wafting in the wind. So right now, this should be relatively light. Yeah. And we could add more. With this wind blowing backwards, we might be able to add a little more of that gravity back in because we went easy on the gravity. So that's going to pull it down quite a bit. And now we can counter that again with some more wind. So that just might make it a little bit more alive.
Super toilet paper.
There's a lot of energy in there. I wonder if friction has an effect on this. So we'll do a simulate forces friction. I'm putting a ton of energy into that, and it's not. So I don't think friction is actually a variable.
Or just do air resistance.
Yeah, it's some drag.
Mm-hmm.
Little drag usually goes a really long way. Yeah, man. Little drag.
Munthy says more iterations makes it more rigid.
Yes. That would be if we do these iterations when it's like stiffness again and again and again. But we're not trying to make it stiffer, I don't think. I think we're just trying to...
slow turbulence.
Yeah, so now there's a little bit of drag, and it really slowed it down. And I agree. Now that we have control over it, we can go back into the forces and make it turbulence. So the turbulence will give it a decent amount of strength, give it some speed. And yeah, actually a big one is probably a good idea as well. Slow down the frequency. He's a goofy little guy. Okay, a little too big. Wow, I'm shocked at how powerful the drag is. Let's go 0.5.
A lot of these settings are so finicky sometimes.
Well, especially the older systems. Like soft bodies, it makes a lot more sense. But something like this where like a hint of drag is going to, man, really, really slow it down. Yeah, I'm at 0.1 now, and now I finally seem to get a little bit of motion back. Yeah, he's just happy there, wafting in the wind.
Happy TP.
Very happy.
Happy TP.
Now, as far as making, well, I guess a thing to try would be to try putting into a cloner. I don't think it's going to work. But let's make a null that will contain everything relevant to making it dynamic. Dynamic TP. And even better, like that's a cloth collider, but then it turns into, actually, this is just to see if we can clone it. So I'll just make a simple cloner, make a single extra clone, put it in. So we get 2, scoot it up. And let's just see if those 2, it's just going to hover there, but let's just see if those 2 sheets are both running
with each other,
and if they're identical. Because my guess would be they'll be identical. It's hard to tell yet, but they
Yeah,
seem to be identical.
Look pretty.
Yeah, they're pretty identical.
Yep.
I mean, are they literally identical, or they just seem to be identical?
I think they're literally.
I think they are. Yeah, they're identical. So what's happening is because it's I mean, I think cloth is older than a cloner. So the it's not calculating each one individually. Where if we were using soft bodies, it would. Well, you can't change the seed, Leo, because it would change the seed on both of them. We could put in multiple clones.
It's weird because the turbulence should act in a 3D space using that noise, so you get slightly different.
No, I agree. It totally would. But here's the difference. What's happening is it's not creating a series of copies of here and then running the simulation. It's running the simulation on the first object and making copies of it. So it's that order of operations.
Yeah.
So at this point, the only thing you could do, and we probably totally can, all we have to do is make it editable. As soon as we make it editable, everything will reactivate. So along those lines, let's just make we'll make 4 of these and create a random effector. And yeah, that's going to push them forward and backward, create some rotations, spin them around randomly. There we go. And then the lighting's probably going to get really squished again. So I'm going to create that null I talked about earlier. Put everything into that null. T for scale, and we're going to scale the lights up in a very relative way. And that should kind of emulate the closer lighting we had, but in the overall shape. This little bit of floor was just for doing collision, so we could put them in some sort of nice world. But based on that, I'm going to give it another save. And now I'm going to make it editable. And if you're going to make something like this editable, it's always a good idea to save it beforehand. So rewind all the way, make it editable. So now there's 4 different ones. Oh, okay. There's something that's a little bit dangerous is the belt is remembering its original position. So all of them are going to get yanked up to this one. And then I'm not sure how much that's going to mess up the overall cloth and if it's going to recover from it. So if we give it a few seconds. Well, it's just that it needs to be initially. You have to add the cloth tag when it's in its final position. So it's actually doing a good job of, in spite of how long it took to whip them into their position. Now that they are in position, then now you could, essentially if you start your animation here, I don't think there's a set initial state in cloth. Unless there is, there's a set initial state. Let's see if that works. I'm gonna search for the word sheet, grab all 4 of the cloth, and say set initial state. And let's see if I rewind, if it's remembering right where it was.
Remember?
Oh, excellent! It totally did.
Yeah, so that's nice.
For as clunky as we just made that actually worked pretty well.
Sometimes it'll clump, and then that clump will remain, and and it looks like it relaxes pretty nicely.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I'm gonna make the scale of the turbulence a little bit larger because we're seeing a lot of like individual. Like I want these to be a little more uniform, but
so many happy TPs.
That's pretty great. They're loving it. The next step here would be, if we were to continue, would be I would love to do a rig so that we could control the eyes individually, so that they get randomized via like a random effector or
and the mouth,
individual clones. Like that'd be a thing to potentially do, but yeah, all of them.
I'm definitely going to work on this and add funny little reactions and stuff.
But let's see, what would you want to do from here? I'm not sure if the connections are great, but hopefully that seam there makes that just sort of work. I mean, and we didn't, but something I'd want to do is like have one of them have like 2 layers of sheets, so he's got like twice as long.
Have even longer. Yeah.
And I mean, there's a lot of things. I mean, now that they're here, I wonder. I just don't trust these dynamics, but since they are connected, I'm curious.
Can you just like extrude?
If I can make one
out one.
If we could make one of them. Well, we baked it down to this position, so the idea of doing that seems really sketchy. We'd have to do it in the before we baked it down state, which is doable.
Wow, let's live dangerously, man.
Let's see. All right, we'll do one. Well, we'll have to undo back to before we made it editable. And I don't want to lose everything else. So I'm going to copy the lights and then undo. La 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 la. Cloner's back.
Boom.
Delete the lights, paste the lights. And now we will clone 2 of them. And one of them... sheet. This one, we will do some extra extrusion. So let's see. We got to see what the length of this is, and the length is 15. I'm going to copy that, select that edge, deselect the extra little ones I got, hit the letter D for extrude, and extrude it by that amount to say apply. And I'm going to hit transform again and again, and then I'm just going to do a bunch of times. So that might be more than 8 sheets, but
yeah.
But that's extending them. And now in the
cloner,
about
that new transform.
What's that?
I always forget about that new transform button. You just want to extrude out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you do it again
totally
and again.
Forget about that sometimes.
So this is going to do the same exploding that we had, but we know how to fix that already. So for the first few frames, it's going to super freak out as they're trying to get to their new position. But after a little... Oh, I also undid all that nice...
Oh, there it goes.
Oh, wait, why is it... Oh, interesting. So
it ripped off.
It totally ripped off. That's interesting.
And the other one just went... Where's the other
one of them didn't even seem to clone.
Yeah.
I'm going to undo. And... did it just go to the belt because we changed the points? It debelted. It's possible. So that should be rebelted now. And yeah, that should be it. Maybe hit play. Let's see if it stays connected this time. Yep. I just had to. When you change the once again the old system, it had a its points were set, but we just changed the point count and the point.
So it doesn't know.
So
yep.
Now, especially with these being longer, I'm assuming that we're going to need to
tighten everything up a bit.
Yeah, like we need these to be a lot less flexible. So I'm going to put the flexion back up to 99. So they should become a lot stiffer overall. And the turbulence should be chilling out a little bit. These are, I'm still waiting for them to figure themselves out.
Yeah.
This bottom one seems a little...
Yeah, the turbulence is really ripping through.
I don't think it's a turbulence. I think there's some sort of intersection happening on some of the
Oh, it's just doing that. It looks like it's working itself out.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping.
It's like, I think I can.
Yeah, it's getting there. Yeah, there we go.
Oh, this looks so good.
Boom. Okay. All right, so back to set initial state. And now we've got alternating 1 sheet, 2 sheets. And yeah, that's looking good. And those are bending nicely. Let's see. Redshift, render view. Awesome. And now, okay. Here's kind of the last thing I want to do. We're already like a half hour over, so we can cut this off whenever. But I'd like to see if we can run rigid body dynamics on the in fact, I'm just gonna I'll make a duplicate of this cylinder. I'm gonna run dynamics on this cylinder and have everything be a child of it. I want to see if it's forced to follow. I'm just curious. So this one will be dynamic. Actually, that's this is in the reverse order of what I thought it was. So we actually want. Oh, that's interesting. Why is when I made the cloner editable, there's double the count. Yeah, I think these we made
double
4.
The TP, but double the fun.
There's these 2 dead empty ones. That's interesting. So there, the bottom one is the top one. So slightly reverse order, duplicate, dynamic. It doesn't have to be visible, but I'm going to make it visible just for our purposes. And it's pretty low poly. It will be a rigid body simulation. Rigid body. And just for our testing purposes, I will make a collider body just below it. Now, I fully expect this just to fall straight down, and it's going to fall through them, but it should bounce off of that if this works. So Well, first of all, let's just make sure that that does bounce down. So rewind, hit play. And yeah, not all of it, but just that one's going to fall. Turbulence is taking over, but that's going to fall. Okay, so that bit is working. Now we've got this fully dynamic one. I'm going to make everything a child of it and make sure that this dynamic tag is not applying to the children. So it's only calculating on itself. So now let's see if the entire thing moves down. And if it does move down, does the belt move with it? Seemingly totally yes.
Yeah.
Which I'm kind of shocked by. So yeah, that is now that is dynamic, and that the cloth just has to go wherever the rest of it says. So I think that will just still pass through things, and it's probably going to be it's not going to behave great, but we can make it pseudo dynamic. If it's soft body, obviously that would be better. We just can't belt a soft body. Cool. That's neat.
It's just so crazy how both cloth and soft body have just been untouched for so long yet. And you say that and it's like, yes, that stinks. It desperately needs updated. But for it being so old, it is quite flexible and usable for a lot of things. Like it's pretty crazy. Like, I know you like to do this too, but you try to recreate these crazy Houdini things you only see people using Houdini for, but then you can like, oh, actually, like you can now with fields and stuff like that, you can actually like, well, we'll trigger a cloth inflation because we have fields that can control vertex maps, and then you can use the belt tag, and you can influence the belt tag using a vertex map and all this stuff.
You can get super insane with how deep you can go. And I mean, having said that, I would love to see a updated system.
Oh yes.
A more uniform dynamic system, but it is still surprising what you can do with it. So those are dynamic. Whoa.
Oh god.
The turbulence is taking over in there.
Whoa.
Curious what they'll do when they roll, because, well, I guess, see, this is going to fight because it's not self-colliding, and we just got to keep on maybe making them a little bit stiffer. It's all about deflection. And yeah, this old system, you can't go above 100%. Like if I type in a giant number, it goes to 100. So we just have to start iterating. So I'm going to say I want 10 iterations, but that means we have to pull down the stiffness. So it's just like a bizarre thing. But now these should be, in theory, 10 times stiffer than they currently are. Oh, wow, they're super stiff. That's actually, I'm impressed.
That is very stiff.
Yeah, that's cool. That's pretty good. Like the wind is so powerful. I'm not sure.
Like, I feel like if you just took a pause, that you could get a good camera angle that works really nice for like a still render.
Oh, totally. Well, actually, why don't I save this and send it back your way, and you can take it from here and do the setup for final like animation or final render.
You wanna? Yeah.
Let me just take a look, make sure everything. I didn't mess anything. I gotta turn off the dynamic ones. Unfortunately, I just made it apparent, and I hate doing this, but I'm just going to make these invisible, and then you have to make the children visible.
Oh, right.
I hate doing that, but just for time's sake, I'm going to do it this way.
Do it.
Visible. Oh, did I miss one? I did miss one. Go away and come back. All right, nice. So yeah, that seems to be good. Oh yeah, and I just want to make sure that these lines were coming with. Yeah, those lines are still there. Actually, that looks surprisingly good.
Yeah, that looks. I mean, I think I would pull back on the weird thickness because it's getting lost there, but I mean that's believable, and I think that's like a lot of this is just tricking the eye. Like you don't need to go in there and model all these fine details. Like, yeah, use some hair.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to save this as number 4. And then as soon as you see number 4 pop in, then you should be able to take over.
All right. Waiting for it.
Boom.
Go, internet. Yay.
Go. Internet
Got it.
sync. All right, and your screen is back up.
Wow.
You're in control. Wow, this is
man. Seamless.
I'll
just save this as.
I gotta say, I'm besides me having to force quit that one time, I'm very impressed with its ability to.
This is very smooth.
Yeah, it's super smooth. Like, this is no less elegant than if we were in the same room.
Yeah, I mean, it's what, times like these, it forces you to try these things out, and sometimes you're very surprised that how effective and we live in the future.
Yeah, but even at the same time, I've been wanting to have remote guests on, and it's just like, I'll get to it when I get to it. Because I'm trying to alternate every other week and have a guest. So
this is so fun.
Also, I might have got overboard with how much I stiffened it up, but you can go back and do less iterations. Actually, you could just take the flexion and drop it down like 50%, and they'll start moving more. But
let me do that. But I think what I want to do now is just have like a little collider guy here and get this so these guys are falling in a fun way.
Oh yeah, totally.
Pause it and just get a nice camera angle and all that good stuff and render out a still. So let's do a cloth collider on that sphere. And let's get our, not cloth surface. What are these?
Leo says, yeah, EJ, break it.
EJ smash. Oh yeah, cloth tech.
Just going back to what I was saying, I don't like setting the visibility, the stoplights, where I was making them visible and not visible. I hate doing it that way because, like if we want that entire hierarchy to be disappeared for a second, those lower ones are going to fight back and they'll still be visible. So what would have been better, we're just trying to do this quick, would have been to just make a null in the exact same position of the dynamic object, and then use like a PSR constraint tag, and then had it follow the dynamic object rather than being a child of the dynamic object.
Let's see what this looks like with this collision.
I could have also probably put some tags on it to make one not render and the other one's render, but
Boom.
No. Wait, is it not?
Why is this not? It needs made editable.
Oh, wait, and you added a cloth collider tag. That's not cloth. That's regular dynamics.
Oh, what an idiot!
And it doesn't need to be made editable.
Yeah, I don't need to make that editable. That's right. That is all. But that'll work because even with the cloth sheet.
No, the cloth will pass right through it. So it just depends if you want which system you want.
Yeah. Let's see.
Yeah, nice. Yeah.
Move this down.
Smack him around, EJ. Smack him around.
Okay, so we need to time this. This is the fun part, is like whacking these things.
Yeah. Well, depending on what there's a lot of ways you could go about it. You just interact. I mean, it's running surprisingly well considering how many simulations were. Oh my goodness.
God. Humanity.
Yeah. Whack them a little slower. But we could also just turn the wind and everything off from affecting the dynamic, rigid body dynamics. And then you could just set different custom initial velocities or even manually place them. But that's pretty good. There you go. Pause it.
Oh God, no. What's going on here?
I think, they're having the soft bodies are having trouble keeping up, or the cloth is having trouble keeping up with it. It might.
I just need I'm just going to position things here and maybe knock his bottom just or something like that. Try to art direct this a little bit.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Just let him bounce off. Whoa. That's pretty good.
See, I like these two.
Yeah.
Even that one, but this top one.
Yeah, maybe one more sphere to block the top from falling backwards too far.
Yeah. Do that. Can't remember which direction everything's going. Okay. It's colliding. It's colliding.
Just need to get a little bit of gap in there. It's behaving differently. That's a completely different simulation.
It's still
I think it
uniform
bounced.
at top.
Well, delete that top one.
The top one, or just I'll move it off to the side or something. Okay. So you can ricochet or something.
Bounce off it. You could, there's a million things we could do. Yeah. You could put the bounce parameters pretty high, so there's like a lot of power if it hits it. But I don't think that's a good idea, actually.
Okay. Yeah. Then things will go. Pew!
Yeah.
Pew, pew, pew.
And it's already having trouble keeping up. There's
okay, so that knocked that top part. There's still.
I mean, we could also throw a dynamic sphere at it.
That's true.
Yeah, why do we do that? Yeah, that would be fun.
Do that. Yeah, dynamic spheres. What are we doing here?
Yeah, why are we just
with these colliders?
Throw one of these spheres at the second from the top. Dynamics on. Yeah, there you go. Put it in front of them and set a custom initial velocity.
Pew pew pew.
Smack them right in the face.
See, that's why I say, whenever I do demos with dynamics, I'm like, I don't play video games because this is my video game.
Yep, we play Cinema 4D. We play dynamics.
Play throwing TP at people. Customization and then let's do in the Z 50 question mark. Move this there. It's there.
Oh, way more speed. No. Add a 0 onto there.
More speed.
More speed.
I feel the need for speed. Oh, beat me to it.
Oh, see, but they're all hitting.
I need
you don't
to
want
have
so many. You just want one. Just
or have one coming from this direction.
Oh yeah, that could be. Yeah, give it a negative Z.
Negative Z.
But I think hit the second from the top from the front really hard.
Second from the top. Okay.
Yeah, see that? Yeah, that sphere. Pull that down just a little bit so it's only hitting the middle one. Yeah, that guy. I think that'll give you something. Nope.
Nope.
I liked it there. I want that smacking that guy.
Okay.
Oh, what?
What did I do? Did
I select negative all Z to all of them?
Oh, jeez. What the heck? Boom! Oh, we definitely need more coming on this one.
Yeah, and put it like right up on it.
Right on that.
And move it up so it's only hitting the top one.
Let's crank this up. Let's go 1,000. Boom!
Burn! Harder to put
momentum.
Put ×2 on everything.
5,000. Boom! Boom! Probably.
Yeah, that sphere also needs a 5,000. Oh my goodness!
Boom!
Right in the face. They love it.
I think we need to. Let's get rid of that. Let's also.
There you go.
Now we have alternating. We'll actually have it hit this one too. Maybe move this one back, and it'll hit the. So we'll hit the bottom and the middle.
Yeah, it'd be good if they tilt. I mean, you could just manually place these, but that's no fun.
Ooh. Let's see.
Thanks for hanging out, Maddie. See you next time.
Yeah, who wants to watch us shoot balls at TP?
Happy.
Okay, I think.
Ooh, that's nice. I like that.
Get somewhere and need to make this go a little longer. And stop. It's that mix of getting the
nice looking
collisions and falling and then getting the cloth.
But if you start smacking it too fast, the cloth is going to fall behind. So you need reasonable speeds. But you could also lower the friction on all of them, so they're more likely to slide off each other more easily.
Here, let me just put this one.
Oh my goodness!
And then you said friction on what?
The top. There's a series of objects called dynamic. So if you search for dynamic with your magnifying glass, and then grab those 4 dynamic tags, and then remove a bunch of friction, like potentially 0.
Okay.
Just so they can freely slide past each other.
That's okay. There we go.
Yeah, so they'll freely move. But I guess the friction, them having friction, is what makes them start tilting.
Yeah.
Although that's a pretty good shot, though. But that one is
this one on the bottom needs I think this one needs friction. Maybe we just alternate friction amounts.
Well, that won't do anything. If something is 100 friction multiplied to something with 0 friction, then it's still 0.
Ew. So
also, everybody, there's more efficient ways of doing this. We're just having fun with it now.
Come on, cloth. Look good.
Oh, it's pretty good. That one is, well, I mean, it's not wrong.
No.
Well, that one is twisting around itself. Really odd.
Yeah.
That would seem to be passing right through itself.
Why. Yeah, I don't know why that's doing that. Boop. Here, let's move this one. This should be like a carnival game.
If I could just snap my fingers and have one feature in cinema, it would be to have this belting and fixing that cloth has in Softbody, because this would just instantly be working in Softbodies.
Right, without the needing all the fixed.
Well, without
things are.
Then it'd be one unified system, because
fixed connectors.
Yeah. And fixed connectors might work, but
I mean, it's this thing where I think this is hitting it too fast that it's pushing this, and this is going forward, like that inertia there. Try this one more time. Doof. Yeah, because this gets hit, and then I stopped it, and then this totally went away.
Yeah, I think you know what? At this point, I think like the dynamic version of this is just, it's not going to cooperate that much. So if you're actually trying to art direct it at this point, we should just manually move them around.
Yeah. So let's do that, because we can do that. Just
move those dynamic objects around manually. Yeah, or even their nulls. Yeah, and then you'll have to that will break, but then you can let them pre-roll and then catch up. Yeah. But it's a lot less fun, but you'll be able to put them exactly where you want them.
Yeah. See, and this goes back to what I said initially, right? It's like sometimes dynamics is, overkill. You can't get exactly what you want, so it's better to just hand keyframe it than waste. I mean, it was fun wasting time.
Also, I just realized if you're seeing the bottoms of them, you'll probably have to copy that helix to the bottom as well, if that's what's becoming prominent. Oh, dang. You're going to have to delete the dynamics tags off of them. Otherwise, they're going to be falling.
Oh.
Or at least turn the dynamics tags into off.
There we go. Snaps.
Yeah. And then those will freak out for a second, and then we'll just keep letting them go for a while. It's going to take a while for those to settle. Like, it's going to take like 100 frames.
I think I want this one to just be more like this. Oh God, no. Have this one really whacked out, like.
Yeah, there you go.
And we'll move this one close to the camera, so this one can be really big. Okay. Okay, that's looking okay. Now, for the drum roll.
Yeah.
But it is nice that you can move these around, and I never thought to have this go on long enough so it resolves itself. The claw simulation resolves themselves, you know.
Yeah, and Leo's saying it might be possible to clear it and set it so they jump to their proper position. For now, this is working for us, but if that does work, that'd be cool.
Oh yeah, yeah. But
it'd also
having to do that every single time you move it, it's such a pain.
One of those is it'll probably sort itself out, but that one is like sneaking in front of itself. Ooh. It's a great angle though. I like the angle.
Which one is going?
Oh wait, is that the?
This is the front.
That's the front one. Okay, just let it resolve until it's in a better position then.
Yeah.
Just not blocking the first one. But what would be cool is we could also animate. We could keyframe this, or we could render it out and just do a couple frames of them wafting in the wind.
Yeah.
So it could also be animated with it kind of
like just little, slightly moving, so it's like a slow mo.
Yeah. Like, and then just give this a pause at any moment where that one is looking good.
This is like intersecting the eyeball or something.
Yeah, it's really going back there. And I mean, it should be seeing the collisions on it, but it's only the collision is only on the cylinder and not on the eyes. So, but you just wouldn't, you wouldn't want that happening anyway. It might just be the, maybe even tilt the wind a little bit to the left, like so that they'll be inclined to blow.
Yeah.
There you go. Give it a second.
Get out of the way, TP.
There it goes. There it goes.
Yeah.
Almost. Get a good silhouette there.
Whoa. Oh, God.
Oh, the tail of the other one came way out.
Yeah, okay. It's pretty... I mean...
That's a few more frames, I'd say. The frontal one, I don't like the way that one is resolved yet, but it's getting there. See, even that's better. Pause it there.
Okay, I think that's good.
Yeah, well, it's a good start point. So before you do anything, click on search for sheet, and then grab all of those and say set initial. There you go. So now you should be able to rewind, and that's where those start.
Should we set it? Play it again?
I mean, if you want to find a better frame, but at least they won't pop.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm liking that.
Yeah,
I'm liking that. So now, let's save. Go to Redshift. Let's get our Redshift camera. Someone said fisheye lens, so we'll try fisheye.
Yeah, and then definitely there's definitely some wonky subdivision, so we might need to put the at least that 1 and 2. Oh, that was great. Fisheye was good call. Depth of field for sure.
Hell yeah. Fisheye in here before. This is fun. That's super fun. Oh goodness. Okay. So yeah, the only thing is you can't see the TP on those.
Well, if you let resolve a little more, I think they'll poke out.
Let's let it resolve.
I think we're using resolve the wrong way too. We'll just let it simulate for a few more frames.
Let's make sure the wind is facing.
Oh yeah, and turn off the renderer. Oh, I guess you kind of can't because we need to see.
Let me just see which way the fan is going.
It is that direction, but only slightly.
Yeah.
Because it's Z+, that's always forward.
Let's go this way. Just need this to go.
That one needs to go left.
Yeah.
Actually, it's doing a good job because the other one's going random. That already, try that right there.
Okay.
From the top anyway, that looks like it's going to be good.
Yeah. Yeah, it is weird that you have to be zoomed in so much to see the fisheye.
Yeah.
Kind of weird. Okay. Yeah. At least now you're seeing.
Yeah.
They're seeing a little weirdness right there.
It's a lot better though.
It is a lot better.
Yeah, if you get a good framing.
This one's too angled up, but
Pro Tools is saying, remember at the beginning when you said, oh, toilet paper, that's an easy one. 160 minutes later.
Right. All right, let's angle this guy down.
Oh, you have to re-resolve.
And now, resolve. Go, TP, go. Actually, that didn't take that long for that to do that.
Well, if you didn't move it much, it'll take a lot less.
TP, go. Okay. That's.
I really like that bottom one, but that left one, you don't see anything.
Yeah.
Barely any.
So maybe I'll rotate this guy.
Yeah, the back one and the front one are a little similar. Yeah.
Like that. I need to. Oh, it's fluttering. It's fluttering.
We got a question about our computer specs.
Oh, don't ask about mine. Don't want to know.
And then, trying to remember.
So that
I had mine listed somewhere, but I think I can go to my settings and be able to see it. System. How do you see? That's boring.
I have this angled up.
System.
And
about your PC. I have an i9 7960X. I think two of them. 64 gigs of RAM.
Go down. I think we're getting somewhere. Well, no.
No.
Ah. This was looking good right there.
Yeah, you gotta be quick on the draw.
Okay. Whoa.
Oh, that is looking nice.
Just now I need that one. All right. We got all of them flowing now. All of them flowing.
Let's see. That's pretty good. You just gotta watch out for the tangent from the front one and the back one, because those are very close to each other. You might need to rotate. Yeah, there you go. Just breaking that tangent.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's definitely some. We got to deal with the shadow or some translucency when it comes to the single sheets, because some of the shadows really dark on them. I'm not sure what the best way to go about fixing those would be. And also, I don't know if you want to, but you might want to set initial again, just to make sure you don't lose the good one in case you rewind.
Right.
I'm glad we stopped running the dynamic, trying to throw the spheres at them. I don't think we would have ever
we would have
found
never...
it. It's like, wait, no, wait.
Okay.
And then, the helix needs to be copied to the bottom of two of them.
There's the helix.
Yeah, just manually. Just do it on the two. You just copy it once inside of itself and scoot it down. You probably just set it to negative Y.
Which one needs moved?
Whichever the front one is. Well, any one that you're seeing the bottom, because the helix is only on the tops of them.
Oh, duh. Yeah.
But yeah, just you have to do them individually. But if you duplicate that bottom helix and just set it to, you can't do it from here. Well, I guess you. I mean, I'm just trying to think of the quickest way. But yeah, just whichever one is the front one. I don't know which one is physically the front one. Just set it to negative Y on its helix, and that should. Oh no, I don't think you put it on the ground, so you have to manually move it.
So just do this.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yeah. Got something.
Yeah.
Gaslit. Well, why did I close that out?
Because you're probably used to doing this on two monitors.
Yeah.
You're fighting for screen space.
Yeah.
Such a big difference between streaming and.
Trying to think how we can get more.
Leo, that's great.
So I guess that let's see. TP main.
Is there any Redshift
do we want
expert
a lot of weight on this?
I don't know. I mean, backlight.
It's getting darker now.
Yeah, backlight is. Wait, it gets darker as you go up,
which is weird.
Well, I mean, we might not want to use backlight because of the nature of it being like super thin. Also, do those actually? I didn't think about it, but the part of the problem there might be coming from the thickness we gave it. Maybe turn off the cloth surfaces because that's not giving us too much. I'm just curious what the which is the front one? Actually, that didn't. Wait, there's still one on at the bottom.
Oop. So this is this one?
You're missing. Yeah, search for. Oh, that's the top one. Yeah, that didn't seem to change anything, honestly.
Yeah.
So what's the?
It's just making it.
Yeah,
darker.
somebody saying do I need to put a little emission on it, but.
Yeah.
And I know, and then Zach, yeah, you could do that. Yeah, I don't. Zach is saying that we could just change the material just on the sheets instead of everything, but I don't know. I always like just changing the material.
Let's try that.
Oh, just to make sure you're adjusting the texture that's applied to the sheet. Yeah, because there are 2 or 3 different materials, so make sure that we're on the proper one. Because if you're like tweaking the one that's doesn't have the perforation, then we'd be like, what's going on?
Okay, sheet. We got all the sheets.
But see, I don't like the idea of changing its setting individually because you see where it's connected on one of them. So if it suddenly gets brighter and it's not getting brighter everywhere, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
So it just goes to like, can that handle a subsurface, or do we have to go easier on our shadows? Like we're just seeing a really harsh shadow or something there.
Yeah, because you see, it doesn't work. Yup. Maybe a little bit of.
This is, by the way, very different from the usual episode. This is when you get EJ involved.
Yeah.
Yeah, translucency.
A little bit of see-through.
That's what we were using, was a lot of translucency. Yeah, see-through, but see, now we are just seeing through it. And you don't see through toilet paper. I mean, maybe it's like 5%, but I'm on the
I think
curve.
we just need to. You know what we haven't turned on is
GI.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, not that.
Actually, render settings. There's
not that.
Oh my goodness.
Oh God, no. Redshift.
Yeah, Zach is probably right. Backlight is meant to replace like super thin objects, not volumes.
Right.
But GI could go a long way here. And Joe was saying save.
I did.
Okay, he's been shortcut saving. Teenage Mutant Toilet Paper. Yeah, that's good one.
Oh man, you could just put they're just different colors.
Oh my goodness, yeah, we could.
They have little headbands on each one.
Just change the color of the eyeballs so that they match.
Yeah, there you go. Got Donatello already.
Yeah.
Let's get
some Raphael. Favorite.
Let's get some Raphael. Of course you like Donatello. It's the Brainiac. Leonardo.
I did always like the inventor characters.
Mikey.
Leo.
And these won't update, so I'm just gonna throw them on here. Oh, this is so annoying with the.
Yeah.
Don't know what's what.
Yeah, you might want to rename the hierarchy just for like front, like first, second, third, fourth, so you know which one's from front to back or something.
Yeah, at this point, it doesn't matter.
I tend to agree. Ah!
There we go. The blue and blue. And then there we go.
There you go. We might need to change the lips to something more neutral, though.
Right on the.
No. I mean, it might be weird, but what if it's just white or like a very light gray?
Yeah.
Yeah, let the eyes pop the color. Yeah. Everything else can be. Yeah, that's not bad.
That's not terrible. Or just maybe do pink.
I think we need a Leo is mentioning it, but I think we need some sort of radial, or not radial gradient, but like a circular gradient in the back, so they're kind of popping from the explosion.
Oh, sure.
There is white on a void of white. Pink.
Is it
I don't know why, but pink is creeping me out a little bit.
What's that?
Pink is creeping me out a little bit.
Pink is creeping.
Pink looks better than gray, someone says, but I don't know. Pink was creeping me out, though.
There you go.
What is the best way to get a gradient in the background?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Vignette. There's a vignette in the camera tag, someone says.
Oh.
See, this is why it's great doing this kind of work with.
I know. It's like I'm not,
because somebody's like, "Oh, do this," and then, or just a plane with a ramp is another way. But let's try the vignette. That sounds interesting. I've never done that.
Composition? No.
I'll also look for it. Redshift camera. Bloom color. Film settings. No. Oh, under exposure, there's a vignetting setting.
Oh, there we go. Doop. Why won't you vignette?
Seeing it do anything. All right, now I'm thinking just a plain.
Yeah. Easy solution.
Oh, wait, were you doing that in the camera? It would have to be on the tag. It's under exposure, override.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that is where you're doing it. Okay. Change the color, someone says.
Nope.
Oh, it's something appeared down on the ground. Or has that always been there?
Oh, that's the plane. I just added here.
Oh. I didn't notice.
Oh, jeez.
Whoa, whoa. Scale the heck out of that sucker.
Fisheye.
Yeah.
Cow.
Well, make it a child of the camera, and you can just adapt the rotation of the camera, and then it should be good. Yeah, set the whatever your closest night. Oh, okay, yeah, there you go. That works. Yeah, look how easy. And shrink it so we can get.
And that's already got the vignette like built in.
It might be. Yeah, a little bit.
Well, let's
do.
Background.
Yeah, we have like 4 different people saying different ways of doing it. A plane. Yeah, the plane might affect the lighting.
Yeah.
Somebody saying to do.
But that's also good if you want like that backlight from the. From the GI. All right, maybe we. So this is where we could use. All right, no. Maybe not. I want to make this bright. So this is where I will need to have like a light here in the back.
Well, if we make this a luminant plane, then we can just get it to cast light, right? And we turn GI on.
Yeah, GI's on. Yeah, I just need to change the lights here. Whoops. Scale it down to nothing.
Let's see. If you change the color by clicking the small triangle, instead of popping out the window color, you can see the result in real time. That's probably a good point. And I would be doing the same thing EJ is.
So if I pop out the color?
Do the twirl. Right now, you see the color bar up there, like where it says color?
Yeah.
I think what we've been doing is double clicking the color and opening the window. But if you leave it here, it'll automatically update. So that's when it comes to a real-time renderer, that's probably a good.
Yeah, that's true. Yep. Pro tip.
Oh yeah, Basil, that's a good point. There's probably background. There's a background image setting in a dome light. We're not. That's not the path we're going down now, but I will keep that in mind in the future.
Oh, in the dome light. That's right. Yep. Because I have a dome light already in here. You can.
Yeah, we could have just turned on the background and thrown in a gradient or something.
Okay.
It's a little blown out now.
Yeah, that's
I don't know. I kind of like the
much.
pure white. I mean, I know it's
That's
maybe bad to do that, but it was. I don't know. They just felt softer. They looked more cuddly when it was white.
all right. Now I thought I had save. Thought I had GI turned on. Oh. Brightens it up a little bit.
Yeah, it's a little blown out.
Yeah, this. I think we need to have the background color something. What color background?
Green
Green
for the turtles. For the
for the
toilet paper
turtle. Do it
turtles.
for the turtles.
Because none of them have green in their eyes.
Right. It's like neon green.
That's super green.
Just a little subtle green.
Yeah, better.
There we go. Digging it. Let's see. Now,
So actually, it's not wrong. Dean is saying, well, I'm gonna say he's saying make
poop.
it brown.
Come on. Heads out of the gutter.
I mean, it is anthropomorphic toilet paper, so.
Anthropomorphic toilet paper. So what'd you do today?
We spent 3 hours
Uh,
making happy toilet paper rolls.
yeah. So let's make this overhead a little.
Several people are seconding making it brown.
Oh. It's brown, flush
I
it
mean,
down.
it's on brand for it. So
Yeah. Let's see. See what it looks like brown.
a nice, rich, chocolatey brown.
Uh, it's like a tan.
Yeah, it's tan. Maybe from a baby.
Maybe a chocolatey.
Yeah, chocolatey. There we
It's
go.
like skin color.
We need that. We need to illuminate the center or get a radial or a circular gradient on there, like some sort of brighter in the center, darker in the
Yeah.
outside.
It's milk chocolatey brown.
I think it looks nice.
Yeah, let's see. Let's make another light. Whoa.
Whoa.
What I can do is just have this affect the background.
Yep. Include only background.
Include.
Zach is on the exact same page.
Shaboom.
Ooh, there you go.
That's the ticket.
Now we're talking.
I think we need.
We're blown out a little bit on the toilet paper.
More brown.
More brown. Even darker.
Dark, rich brown. Going to Brown Town.
Oh, not that much. Split the difference.
Do. Okay, so now we're overblown on our...
Yeah, the front one's definitely blown out.
Let's see.
Yeah. Everybody just wants to lower the intensity.
Something like that.
Yeah. Not the exposure.
Actually, I think
Someone
these
says,
we
make
don't
sure it's
want.
intensity.
I think for these
That's
we
better,
don't
though.
want to affect the plane. There we go.
Yeah, that's better.
Just
More
have this
3D.
background light illuminating everything. Got that vignette. And then what? We want to...
Well, let's, I guess, see what you got there. They looked actually pretty balanced, but now they're getting blown out again. I'm not sure we just changed, but it did seem balanced for a second. So those are two bright. It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Just a little flat in the front.
Some rim light in the left, someone says.
Yep. On it. I want to make another light. This can just be a nice overhead light. Oh.
Use a spotlight. Well, we gotta go. I do appreciate all the feedback from everybody, but we can't. We can't.
All these art directors here,
yeah.
man.
We
Just
got
a
5
chat full of art
simultaneous.
directors. All right. I think we're getting close. I think we're getting close here.
Yeah, there's a nice pop to it. A little blown out, but it's
a little
got a
blown
nice
out.
pop.
Can you make the logo bigger?
Yeah, this is a weird episode.
One for the ages. Hey, it's your first remote live stream. It had to be something a little bit different.
Yeah, it certainly is.
All
right. Herrerasaurus is saying, could they be napkins instead? Toilet or paper towel rolls are the furthest we'll
go. Now this guy facing directly on is kind of bothering me. So
well, it's the front's super blown out too.
Plus, what you're seeing. So what I'm seeing on my end, it's not blown out, but on the live stream it looks blown out. So I think that's the issue we're having here.
Could be.
Or it looks okay.
This isn't the most calibrated monitor. Yeah, actually, yeah. Just switch to the other monitor and it's a little better.
Yeah. Yeah. These dang live stream fart directors. Okay, now it's blown out. I shouldn't have moved that. Okay.
Well, everybody seems to approve.
Okay.
Of the path we've taken.
Okay. This does not look blown out where I'm sitting.
Okay, if you say so. It does look like that on mine, but
yeah, because I see on the live stream it is kind of blown out. So it looks better on my end, but yeah, that one side looks blown out, but it's looking good. So one thing is I know in Octane there's like a render setting where you can clamp cutoff thresholds. No.
I think it'd also be a good idea to throw on some sort of Redshift subdivision on the sheets, because definitely that bottom one you can see some curling. I'm not sure what the best setting would be.
Good call.
Leo saying, like, cool, nailed it. Let's start another question now. Start the next scene. 3 more hours.
Let's do it.
Oh yeah, it's true though. We are now in the longest episode of the season, at least. I've gone 3 hours, but
and now all we did was toilet paper.
But I answered one quick one about a mattress.
We all learned something about each other today. I think that's the most important thing.
We learned a lot about the chat as well.
Yeah, I think the chat
the toilet paper really quick.
Chat really brought it today. Geometry override enabled. Ooh, looks nice already. I think let's do 8. I think that looks good, actually. I always want to say that this is limit out of frustration tessellation. Limit out of frustration.
Yeah.
I'm so angry at this. Okay.
I do agree with that. Crossfader is saying that the red. Some of the I know we were going for the turtles, but the red is the dominant color here, and it's kind of clashing with the background. Like the purple and the blue are like nice and soft.
Oh, sure.
The red is kind of screaming.
Cooler,
so we can pull away from the turtles and do whatever we want. And then and the orange now is too close to the background. But I do agree with that. Retro Tribute.
All right, we're just gonna do all.
EJ. Oh yeah, and we forgot depth of field.
Ooh. Yeah, we didn't do depth of field. I'm just gonna turn all of them purple. They're all Donatellos. And I'm doing the blue lips.
Works for me.
Blue lips again. Yep. Boom. Save. Depth of field.
Depth of field.
DOF. Redshift. Camera. Bokeh. Enabled. Am I doing this right? Direct focus distance from camera? No. Is it just adjusting the f-stop? No.
I always just thought it was Redshift camera. Is it just under blue? No. Oh, bokeh. Yeah, it's under bokeh.
Oh, it's bokeh? Yeah.
And then...
COC radius. There we go. That's the stuff.
Yep,
so now...
Okay, we figured out just before the chat started shouting out all the correct answers. So,
so focus on this guy. And then...
Yep, circle of confusion.
Circle of confusion. I think... what did I change here? All right, I changed something... Oh, the exposure. Just get that back to where it was. How's the art directors doing? They like that amount of confusion?
Dean is saying motion blur would work better than COC, but we'd have to have it moving then. So that's not going to happen.
That's a little tougher.
I don't. Yeah, I know you could move the camera, but I mean, it would be cool, but I just don't think we're going to go that direction. Whoa, what is happening? Oh.
You can actually adjust the offset or the aspect. Yeah, it kind of looks like they're moving.
Yeah, it's not front to back, but Yeah, well, even if we were to move the camera and do that, we want one of them to like be still in the frame. Otherwise, they're all just gonna be streaky. So
Yeah.
Johnny is saying that he's used to Arnold and some Octane, but it's feeling like Redshift is a little bit weirder and maybe more complicated. That could just be the way we're using it, that we're making it seem unelegant because the two of us are okay at stumbling around in it, but we're
two
not
of us put together are amateur Redshift artists.
I just simply don't render things in general, but.
All right. Is there a way to adjust like how much how you can in regular render you can adjust exactly what that distance is from that focal distance it's in?
I think it's just the COC, just a circle of confusion.
Because like if I want to blur this all the way out, I can't if I want to focus on this, I can't extend that depth. You know?
Oh, I don't know such things.
Yeah. All right. Let's just do 2. Call it done. Let's put a LUT on it.
Oh, a LUT.
Let's LUT. Whoa.
Whoa.
Whoa. That's like a horror
goodness.
film.
Are these LUTs that just come with it, or?
Yeah, they're not the best.
Yeah, they're all pretty intense.
What's Carbon Saber? That's
it's very Carbon Sabery.
I don't know what that is. Warm Honey. Sinister. Prune. Rain. Slog. Titan.
Yeah, I don't know. None of them were doing it for me. Like, you had it pretty well dialed in.
Yeah. Yeah, let's not do any of these. Oh, what happened now?
What happened?
Is that? I guess that's.
Wow.
So I guess that's.
Yeah, I think that's looking good. And then one of the things I thought was like a render artifact is just the toilet paper folded in on itself. So I had to blow my screen up bigger. So,
oh yeah.
They're so happy. I think you should change the mouth a little bit or something on 1 or 2 of them. Just pull the spline. That should be super quick. I'll also save it.
Yeah. I'm gonna increase the size of that so it's not so.
Yeah. Everybody's saying just fix it in post. Finish it in post.
All right. We'll move that. We'll just close that. And let's get out of this camera. And let's just do Toof's mouth.
Actually, you know what suddenly popped in my head would be, we shouldn't do it in the stream, but you know those almost like a cinematograph type of thing where the camera just moves a little bit left and right. It just gives you the parallax.
Yeah.
Like that would work well for here. Just that little bit of parallax depth of field. That would have been a good idea, Jess, but we didn't think of it, and now they're all simulated and they're stuck. But we should have had one of them be upside down.
Oh.
Actually, well, we could flip the mouth.
Rotate the face.
Yeah, spin the face. I didn't even think about that.
Just rotate the face. Nice. I'm not seeing the Bezier handles here.
Oh yeah, well, it's just the Redshift lighting. Change the display, or change your display mode to a non-textured, like quick shading.
There we go.
Yeah.
What happened to the teeth?
I don't know. I think they flipped their orientation. You'll have to offset them again. Well, maybe that one just doesn't have teeth. They can all be a little different.
Okay. Yeah, no teeth. Got his teeth knocked out by those spheres we're bashing at him. Change. Let's do this one. We'll just change this one really quick.
Have him be upside down. You probably don't have to change it. Just flip it upside down.
Oh, just the, yeah. Because we don't need to do the dynamics anymore.
Yeah. Well, not the whole model, just the face. Oh, maybe. Yeah, I was thinking just spin the mouth was safer.
Oh. Yeah, that's the hard thing with this character is that
they're centered, so it just makes it look frowny. I guess the teeth are upside down. I guess you could scoot the mouth down further, or I guess up further if it's supposed to be upside down. And see, now he's right side up. Move the eyes down a little and the mouth up a little, and I think it'll read as upside down.
A little.
Yeah.
And there we go.
The mouth up a little, and then I think it'll read really clearly it's upside down.
Yeah, that looks upside down.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, just as long as you have the mouth up a little bit. Yeah, that's the thing with these mouths. When you have them centered like that.
Yeah, your brain just fills them in. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
I like that he looks concerned down there. Yeah.
This one can look a little. You can be like, oh god.
He's looking a little cheeky there.
Ooh. This one will be a little more unsure.
Well, have the mouth open, like the top and bottom point. Move them up so it's kind of like an O shape, like ah.
Well, I have one guy that's like that.
Oh, you already like that? I missed it.
Ooh.
Yeah, the teeth are flipping.
That's very weird.
Yeah, it's just the way splines behave. Yeah, they don't have a rail, so.
Right. So this one can just lose the teeth.
Yeah. Or you could give him a whole mouthful of teeth.
Toofs, goodbye. This one's like, oh. Okay. All right, let's go back into our fisheye. Save. Redshift. Render view. Good. Bucket render.
No, Johnny, I'm there with you. Like the next thing we gotta do is tweak a couple pupils.
Oh, I had them changed, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I killed. Well, yeah, when we made them more dynamic, they all went away. But easy to tweak here. Right. Just don't. Just rotate them a little up and down. Nothing too crazy. Yeah. That one's fine. That one's already upside down, so he looks great.
Yeah, this one will look at the camera.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Stare into your soul.
Crap. Of course, I was looking directly through the camera. Oops.
Yeah, now he's happy.
Yeah, let's turn down this dome light. A little more contrast there. All right. TP done.
TP done.
This guy over here is overexposed.
Oh yeah. When did that happen?
All right.
I call that a successful live stream.
And Scene. This is the portion of the show where you just fart with lights.
Yeah, well, this is
Right,
that
Alex.
last
Okay.
that last 5% will never
Yep.
go.
Yep. The one thing I don't like about
Well, that
Redshift, unless
vignette
I'm
got
missing
really
some.
strong. Go ahead.
Yeah, that vignette's really strong now.
Kind of like a little darker anyway. It makes it less orange
Yeah.
and more brown.
Yep.
Yeah, just make it a little bigger and then
Whoa.
less bright. Yeah, that's the world they live in.
Boom. That's all right. And then I'll just save this into the.
Now, when you're doing this type of thing, would you spend any time in Photoshop doing any kind of tweaks or anything, or
Not with third-party renders, or
yeah, they come out
renderers,
pretty
because you
nice.
can do LUTs, everything all in camera, so it's not really a thing.
Yeah. Well, you and I have talked about. You and I are a lot less likely to spend a lot of time in post, and it's just like, oh no, it's all in render,
Right.
which is spoken by people who don't spend a lot of time in production.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Just up the samples a little bit.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
Let's do
he's been
10.
saving, but somebody's concerned you haven't saved it. So
Oh, trust me. Oh, you trust me.
nice big render.
Oh, I didn't even do full HD. Damn it.
Dang.
Or you. Oh, jeez. Or we do Instagram. Boom. Square that up. Oh, what's going on there?
Everything seems to have zoomed out. I think your aspect ratio changed because of making it square. So now you have to zoom up a bit or something.
What?
Whoa.
There
Oh,
we go.
okay.
All right, let's do this again.
This
actually fits a square composition pretty good, actually.
You're not in the camera. I'm not sure if you're trying to be.
Oh,
no,
doy. Yeah. Well, it doesn't even matter what that looks like there.
Because this is all that matters.
So it's weird that, see this?
Just zoom up. Yeah. Well, that's the edge of the fisheye. I don't think that's. Oh, wait. I guess you can't just zoom.
Is there a way to see like your boundaries in here? It's very weird.
I don't have an answer for you.
Because you'd want to see like what is the safe area.
Right. I think I'm sure there is. Frame region, frame.
Oh.
Oh well.
Anyone?
I think no, nobody's. I think it's just like this render view window because whatever size you make it is what it's adapting to.
Yeah, but in Octane, for example, you have.
Well, stretch the square. Just stretch the overall window square to look more square.
Oh. See, that's.
Yeah, but see, it's adapting to whatever you feed in. So.
Fill window. Am I zoomed in on the IPR? Yeah, I was.
Well, yeah, but regardless, it's still got the giant circle there.
Right. That's weird. Let's render. I don't know why I'm rendering a TIFF, but whatever. You know what? We'll fix that in post.
Just render at a double scale, and then we'll crop it in Photoshop.
Because that's basically what you need to do. I think this is just the result of using fisheye. So what I would do is just double the size and just crop in like that.
Yeah, do it because once we crop in, it looks great. ×2.
PNG.
There you go.
16-bit. Boom.
Shablams.
Once this is rendered, we'll call it.
Well, we got to crop it, and then we can call it.
Never used a fisheye camera before. Yeah, I think this is just the...
Yeah, we'll paint out.
Yeah, just paint it out. All right, let's... See, it looks blown out on your end, but it's good over here.
Yeah, no, the screen is not... I actually usually have my Cintiq screen, but my brother wanted to borrow it, so I borrow his monitor instead, and this is not calibrated for like art stuff. So I have to not trust my screen.
Let's go into Photoshop.
Photoshop.
Little
koala preview.
Yeah, little koala guy, yeah. Oh, you'll see that on Instagram soon.
You saw it here first, folks.
Size. Is this the right? I can't remember if it's canvas or... Oh, no, well,
what I would do... Oh, no, it's a hit cancel. I don't
want
the proper... I just select all. Copy. So Control A, Control C. And now crop it and then paste it in and move it wherever the heck you want.
What?
Yeah, now crop it however you are wanting. You copied and not just duplicated, right? The copy was important. But now you don't know what size this is.
It's a ratio.
Yeah, but you need your 1080. All I wanted you to go. The way you were... Oh, okay, nice. But the way you were doing it was fine. I just wanted you to copy the image first so you could paste it in. But yeah, canvas size is what we're trying to do.
There we have it.
Ta-da.
Save.
Save that in the shared folder. Is that in the shared folder?
Yes.
Nice. Alrighty. Oh, man. All right, so let's pop that up full screen, and then let's chat. We'll close it out with the chat, and then we'll be done. Oh, look at him. That's awesome. Like once you zoom up and you see the curvature and you get the little...
You get the little texture there.
Get the line is important. The little bit of texture.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're...
Now, if we really wanted to go, we would have offset that. We would have offset this on all of them.
I was going to suggest that, and I was like, eh.
Yeah. And there is this little thing going on there.
Yeah, I guess
we'll fix it. We'll fix it.
Just clone stamp that one.
Oh, whoa.
Whoa.
All right. All right.
Yeah, the rightmost one is happy. He's just like, whee!
He's just like, yeah, everyone else is freaking out.
Well, the front one's cool. But
this
the one
one's
on the right's
like, I don't know about this.
Yeah. Upside down is definitely concerned.
Yep. I have concerns.
Yep.
1 million hearts on Instagram. Thank you. I think so too.
Yep. No, this don't worry. This is going on Instagram.
Oh yeah. So you could just paint this out. Let's get that. Let's get that. What is the magic magic thingy tool?
Zoom way up. Oh wow.
See, boom, magic thingy tool.
Done.
Save. Repeating poop texture. Oh god. And done. Pencils down.
Yeah, that was a lot. It was intense for what we ended up with here, but I think they're cool. I like them. Okay, I'm gonna jump us to chat screen here if it works.
Hey.
Boom. All right, everybody. We're gonna wrap this one up for this. Oh man, we're heading
talking about
towards
TP after 3 hours. I think we all need to.
We're rapidly heading to. No, I mean it's supposed to end at 4, so we're almost 2 hours over. So we've almost gone. We're heading towards 4 hours at this point.
So much better than another half hour with simulation. You both make my day in these strange times. Stay healthy, keep social distancing. Thank you so much. I'm glad, if there's gonna be a time to just goof around, it's these times.
Yeah, just make your own fun. You got to do what you got to do.
Yep.
So yeah, it was a weird one and fun, but you know what? This was fun, and I'll see.
It was 1 a.m. in Greece. Wow.
Wow,
Thanks
killing
for
it.
staying up.
Who's it latest for?
That's a good
4:30. Is
question.
that 4:30 like in the morning or 4:30 in like the late afternoon? Because that's an important distinction. I guess it can't. It has to be in the morning because it's almost the same time as here, and there's no way on the other side of the planet it's different. But that's super crazy. And you know, I'm sure this is not the last time we'll get EJ on the stream.
Oh
So
yeah.
um,
This is fun.
yeah, this was really cool.
4:13 in the morning in India. Wow.
Yikes!
Thanks for staying up.
Yeah, that's crazy. Um, about midnight in France. So yeah, this should wrap this up. I guess we'll just cover the last basics. All these scene files will be available on Patreon. Thank you so much, everybody, for supporting it. There'll be a bonus stream tomorrow. Um, and then let's see. Trying to think of other news things. Do you have anything coming up? Any other streams you're involved in or anything, EJ?
I think the marathon streams will pause for a while.
Yeah, you do Monday,
uh,
Tuesday, Wednesday, nonstop streaming from you.
yeah, the one thing to that we can announce is that we did a kind of internal like School Motion alumni live stream about, and Ryan Summers was doing reel reviews. It was a runaway hit, so we're going to be opening that up to the general public sometime soon. So if you want to, I'm sure we'll be putting out information for the people that want to get their reels reviewed by Ryan Summers, who's an amazing creative director. He used to work at Digital Kitchen. A fellow Chicagoan. Is that how you say
he's here in
Chicagoan?
Chicago. Yeah.
But yeah, we're going to be ramping up the live streams quite a bit. We got a lot of tutorial content. Tomorrow we have an article on School Motion that's going to have 50 free textures that you can download for free. And there's going to be a list of 50 texture websites that are like not crappy textures, but like legit textures to normal maps, bump maps, and a lot of free resources. So that's coming out tomorrow.
Nice. Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff coming out of School of Motion right now. Joel's asking about the Maxon NAB stream, and I think both of us are presenting from that, right?
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll be my next live stream. We'll see.
I mean, I don't know, how far away is that? When is that? That's
I think
like
it's a little less than a month away.
Yeah, that's enough time, I think.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, that should wrap this up. Thanks for the link in there, Pro Tools. If you want to continue the conversation, we've got a Rocket Lasso Slack channel. You can get to it by going to rocketlassoslack.com and you just pop right in. And so all the same people will be in there chatting and answering and asking questions. So it's really fun. Okay, see everybody on the bonus stream tomorrow for Patreon, and otherwise I'll see everybody Wednesday. Thank you so much, EJ. Everybody make sure, you're probably already following EJ. It's like almost impossible that you're not, so make sure you are following him on Instagram and all that so we can post our nice render today on it, and that should wrap this one up. Thanks so much, everybody, and see you next time. Bye bye.
Thanks, Chris. Bye bye.